It's all down to Mitchie to try to deny that. He's not able to deny the plant mid. He's able to run down the time.
Here it starts again. One kill already done. Next kill already done. Numbers do usually win out, so they are going to pick it up through the wall.
Camera in position.
Get behind me!
Tango located.
Hostiles in sight!
Kia ora, g'day, and welcome along. We're almost there to the end of the round robin here in Season 3 for LPL Pro Rainbow Six Siege. My name is Matt Smite Ross, it's never going to change. And this man here, well, at least on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I know him as Cthulu. So, welcome along here. We're getting to the tail end of the season, finally.
Thank you, Smite. Yes, the season has been absolutely stunning, and we've had some really good storylines happening, some very interesting matchups, some really close matchups, some very unfortunate losses for a few teams. But look, for overall, this has been probably one of the more competitive seasons LPL Pro has had for a while now.
Which is crazy, seeing as how competitive Season 2 was.
To
think Season 3 is going to one-up it, maybe? Well, I guess we'll have to find out as we're getting into the final weeks of the round robin. But just to catch everyone up, get everyone up to speed, we'll go through the top of the show because we like to get everyone on the same page. Now, it is, as we've been mentioning, a round robin that we're getting through first. We've got 8 teams, so it's 7 weeks to get through all of the matches, and that's a best of 2 for each match. And now, of course, in a few weeks' time, actually, once we finish the round robin, we'll be taking the top 4 teams and putting them in the elimination style brackets where it's do or die. So that's where the real fun begins, Cthulhu.
Yeah, definitely. This is where the main rivalries will be forged, and this is where the main incentive will be coming from as well. A very large chunk of money to battle for on the first place, as well as the second and third and fourth. And, well, most of the teams will be aiming for the first place to also get themselves some bragging rights, and, well, that should be definitely some barn burner matchups for us to witness.
Yeah, I mean, especially seeing as all the prize pool is in the top 4, so you've even got to make the playoffs to even crack at that team prize money. But I say team because there are some individual ways that these players can score themselves some prizes. The first one being the Vodafone MVP Award. Now, this one, of course, is for the MVP at the end of every season for all LPL Pro broadcasts. So whether it's CSGO or Rainbow Six, doesn't really matter. But of course, they'll be walking away with $250 extra. So, you know what? Get out there, be the best person on your team. Go defuse, well, disable that diffuser or plant the diffuser, depending on what side you're on, or just
play for the objective.
Yeah, you know, just finish disabling the diffuser in some cases, of course. But I digress, because there are a few other ways that these players can individually score themselves some prizes. And this one's a whole lot of fun because you guys at home can get involved too. It's the Red Bull fan vote. And this one is so much fun because all you got to do is go !vote in the chat to find out how to do it. And then go and vote for your favorite player. It's as easy as that. And then when we get the 4 most voted players at the end of the season, they each get $500, a year supply of Red Bull, and a fridge as well to store it all in as well. So look, sweet prizes, Cthulhu. So all they're going to go out and do is vote. So what are we going to do for them? How do we sweeten the deal?
Yeah, well, we can also most definitely sweeten up the deal, and 4 random voters will get their chance to be drawn into a year's worth supply of Red Bull, which is quite neat, I gotta say. That is a pretty awesome opportunity, and maybe get just enough energy to maybe for them to climb their ranks.
Well, look, just for an idea of how much this is, here's a maths question, Cthulhu, right?
Oh boy.
All right, so if you had 1 Red Bull for every day of the year, how many Red Bulls would you have?
365?
No. The answer is enough.
Okay.
And so you can score yourself enough Red Bull. All you got to do is vote, !vote in Twitch chat to find out how. Now, of course, if you've been paying attention the last few weeks, you'll have noticed we've partnered up with the Esports Assessment Lab as well. Cool little thing you can do, a little test. You can go and give your brain a whirl on their cognitive assessment of how your brain works in esports. It's a real fun thing to do. You can get in there and give it a try. I've done it. I scored better than 60% of gamers. I'm real keen to find out what Campo got because he himself has done it. I think his score is actually on the website for you to go and try and test yourself against. So get in there and do it as well. And all you want to do is !EAL in the Twitch chat to find out a little bit more, and then of course use our code LPL Gaming, all caps, no spaces, and you can give it a try for free as well. See if you can beat Campo, because that's going to be a whole lot of fun. Because Campo, oh man, that guy's a machine.
Oh yeah, that guy is an absolute fragging machine. So yeah, I'll be surely going to EAL website to get myself tested as well for all of that.
Yeah, see if you can get maybe like a third of his score.
See, maybe, yeah, I'll probably a third of his score is probably going to be like the best case scenario for
Yeah,
me.
actually, I'd be pretty stoked with a third of his score too. But hey, look, Cthulhu, to see what an amazing monster Campo can be, we've got to get into the show. So let's start talking about where we're at, because like we've been hyping up, we're near the end of this whole round robin shindig. There's only 2 weeks to go, but let's talk about the last stage that we had a look at, because last time we were here, we had 2 pretty expected matches in terms of the results, but I mean, we say this every week, the path to get there was a little bit different.
Yeah, the path that both of the teams got there was definitely a whole lot more complex than what we expected. Skyfire first versus Bans played it out, and well, the first map was definitely a bit of a more so an expected scoreline. I believe it was 7-4 at the end of the first map. Second map though was a whole lot closer. Bans showed quite some phenomenal game on a fair few occasions, did some good performances, but unfortunately for them, Skyfire were just one step ahead for a few more times.
Yeah, I mean, this series, particularly on the first map, I mean, it just felt like Skyfire. Oh yeah, here it is as well. That impact, that's just such a good example of it, right?
It was a little bit more impactful.
Yeah. but my point is, Skyfire, so many rounds it felt like, oh no, they'd lost it, or Vance surely have got this one, but Skyfire would take them back so many times, time after time.
Yeah, time after time, it's just Skyfire were always able to just run away with so many rounds, so many clutches, so many 2v4s, but then we also saw Elemental versus PC419, which was another just a roller coaster of emotions, especially for Cairo, the man who was able to get that very phenomenal knife there.
Oh man, he would want to feel good getting that knife because it was a little bit of a disaster later on. Now, this one, of course, like we said, expected result where PC419 did get the 2-0, but Elemental brought it almost so close at the end of there. Unfortunately, I don't think it's actually on the highlights, but it was right at the end. It was literally round 14. We were in overtime, and Elemental had just about won the round.
Yeah, they were just about to push it to the final round, but unfortunately for them, just certain things didn't happen, certain things didn't line up, and certain decisions were made. But alas for them, they didn't get themselves a win on either of the maps, and PC419 proceeded to get themselves a neato 2-0 scoreline, which did set themselves up for quite nice standing on the leaderboard as well.
Yeah, and now this leaderboard is why we keep hyping up this round robin. So first up, I want to get it out of the way, the bottom 3. ShadowNet are all but secured in their relegation match at this point, right? What they would need to have happen is nothing short of a miracle. They need to get 2 2-0s. They need Bans and Elemental to not win a single map over the next 2 weeks. And looking at their matches tonight and next week, it's not likely to happen. Same sort of story with Elemental and Bans, is that they need some miraculous circumstances to even crack into the top 4 for playoffs. So really for them, it's all about avoiding relegation. But let's talk about this top 4 Cthulhu. There's 5 teams won in there.
Yeah, 5 teams are contesting for the top 4 playoffs bracket, and right now it's Ferox's and Exto's chance to really kind of stick around, because theoretically Skyfire and PC419 are more or less locked in. Robocopter is most definitely pretty much locked in, unless some miraculous losses will happen in the last 2 of their play days. And well, really, it's more so of a question as which team will be able to make it to the 4th position.
Yeah, and you've got Ferox sitting there just a point below X. So, of course, these teams are going to have their chance to win and score themselves a little bit higher up on the leaderboard. But, I mean, that's why every match has been important so far, because you look at from 1st to 5th, they're within 3 points of each other. That is 1-2-0 series from each other. So it's all interchangeable in these last few weeks, and that's where it gets real exciting. So, Cthulhu, let's start talking about the matches tonight, because we've been saying they're so important. So let's have a look at what they're going to be. So first up, of course, Elemental will have their shot against Ferox, and then later on, Exto versus Rafflecopter. So, Cthulhu, both of these matches are going to follow a pretty similar kind of style. Although let's focus on, I think the second one first, because we're just about to jump into that first match. Exto versus Rufflecopter later on. I mean, important for both teams to win. I think it can really decide what that leaderboard's really going to look like.
Yeah, for both of these teams, the win will mean quite a whole lot of things. For Elemental, it is going to be more so just securing themselves out of that relegation positions and out of that tiebreaker that they currently have with bans. For Ferox, this means that if they win, they might be able to get themselves into the top 4 position and potentially beat EXO out of it, which would be quite a large swing in EXO's performance comparative to even their Season 2 performance, where they managed to just get also actually into the playoffs after the, I believe, final play day back then against Skyfire. So
I think it was, the very last match.
Yeah, that was the last match that pretty much messed up their whole standings there. But to say, with that said as well, the matches after it, or rather, after it are going to be the big ones as well. The Exto versus Rufflecopter is certainly going to be quite a potent one as well.
We've even had it quoted as the most important match, or like the craziest match to watch this season. I may be twisting the words a little bit there, but it has been said on social media, so I'm getting an idea. Maybe we should be tuning into that match later. But, of course, that is a second match of the day. So, Cthulhu, let's take a look at this first match here. Ferox versus Elemental. Very important for Ferox, but, of course, very important for Elemental on the other side of the leaderboard. So, looking at these guys, Supremacist is back, however, not in place of Fluxus this time. Instead, he is replacing Dinkle.
Yeah, so the replacement of Dinkle is certainly going to be a bit of a change around in the overall composition of Elemental, I reckon, because while Dinkle was more so, at least it felt like he was more so playing like a flex player or occasionally an entry, the trio of TBCX, Cairo, and Distance is still a pretty powerful one. It's more so just that Dinkle was occasionally playing as more so like a solo player, a solo nuisance to the opponent. So here for Supremacist, he's been more so performing as rather a bit more of a support player, theoretically, especially during his debut match last week. So curious to see where tonight's match will take him, on what kind of adventures, but quite keen to see how this roster will perform.
Yeah, well, because they've got a big match up against them right now. It's against Ferox. This is a scary lineup for sure, but this is the time to break away from the bottom of the relegation spot. For Ferox, it's about cracking into that top 4. Now, these guys, their lineup hasn't changed, so let's talk about why these guys are just such a strong team.
Yeah, they are the team that were able to get themselves into Oceanic Nationals. They were, unfortunately, their run has been cut short a little bit, and they are now focusing mainly on LPL Pro. But look, finally they are going to be playing with a full core 5 stack. No, neither Repix nor Warden will be present as the sub. Sushi is back into play. So keen to see how will they perform, and keen to see how will Sushi essentially will be able to slot back in after, I believe, 2-week hiatus.
Yeah, it's good to see the man finally back as well. Now, of course, it can come down to just these individual players like Sushi, but looking at our key player matchup here, first up from Ferox, it's Oda, and we have hyped this man up a lot, and he has deserved a lot of those moments too. A machine in a lot of his matches. Distance, a lot can be said the same for the man, but does he match up to Oda?
Could be. If the rest of the team does pop off, Distance could certainly change the tide of a fair few rounds. Thanks to him, Elemental were able to win out quite a fair few rounds. So definitely, I reckon he's one of the few people to keep an eye out.
All right, well, Cthulhu, look, it's going to be a real big matchup for Elemental for sure, because remember, for them, it's not about cracking into the top 4. That dream is pretty far. It's about avoiding relegation. So in the light of such a very tough match, it's got to be cracking down on them a little bit emotionally too. So we had to catch up with them to see how they were feeling before such a pretty terrifying match.
So I think the map feeders can be quite useful. It's kind of a good tool to, I guess, take your opponent where you want them to go. And I think obviously it's each team gets 2 bans before the map picks. With some teams you can kind of throw them off, I guess, because you can look at your history of map bans and they can look at your history of map bans. You can kind of predict, I guess, what they'll want to go to and what you'll want to go to. And obviously if you can kind of work around that and, you know, you can intentionally ban some stuff that you want to bring out later in the later day type thing, and surprise a few teams can be a useful way to kind of take them to a map that they think you're weak on and that you're really not. So it's, there's a bit of mental side behind it, a bit of research you got to do. Quickest way to learn a map. I mean, there's different ways you can go about it. You can go in like a T-hunt, kind of learn everything. You could go into casual and just kind of focus on everything, but you just got to play it in the end to like kind of learn stuff. And like it's about like kind of map control, I guess. Like if you have upstairs and they can only be downstairs, there's only 2 places they can contest you. So I guess you kind of eliminate the places they can be. Learning from like, watching Pro League, watching streamers, all that stuff's important, and kind of putting that into your own style. Like you got to play if you want to get better, and there's different like aim trainers in that. I think the more game time you get, more like time you actually put into it. Learning how to get better and why you're not getting better maybe can help, and then you put that into time playing and make your time more efficient, I guess, and to improve yourself.
And there you have it, the brains behind Elemental, Fluxus. I mean, look, he's got a lot of matter up there in that old noggin, rolling around, a lot of ideas. You can tell the guy knows a lot about the game.
Yeah, definitely quite a few wrinkles there on the brain.
Oh, absolutely. Need them all in a game like Siege. But look, obviously he's looking after his team quite a lot. Now he's actually hitting the field tonight as well. So clearly a player that's very involved in his team, Cthulhu, as you do load up the maps here that we're going to be hitting up. So first up, he was talking about maybe trying to bait them into certain picks or try to make them pick something that they're actually good at. But it's going to be Clubhouse in Oregon again, Cthulhu.
Yes.
So it's not like much has changed, has it? We're still going to the same maps, but I suppose it's Elemental picking up Clubhouse first.
Yeah, well, let's have a look. How will Elemental really perform here on Clubhouse as they're going to be preparing to get their bands on and get the game on, as Ferox are going to be the ones to kick things off on defense here for themselves. And certainly this could be setting themselves up for a good initial set of points, but we'll obviously have to see. First band to go on the Capitao, Ferox are well aware how powerful can the Brazilian operator be, especially with a crossbow to deny the bandit tricking. So with him out of the way, and as well as that, one of the operators that has the secondary heart breach charge. Thank you, Fluxus. Much appreciated as well. Yeah, so including the secondary heart breach device, that's out of the way. Same goes for Thatcher. So that's gone and out of the equation. And yeah, look, this could be a pretty... Well, whilst the bans look somewhat stable and standard, I still reckon that this could be a pretty banger of a matchup. Well, we'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, bans are looking normal. I think the big thing is that you're not really hitting too much of the hard breach, Thatcher being the big one, so unless something like Bandit ban comes out, that's still going to be in play. Kaid ban could also pop out, but I mean, when you don't have Thatcher to worry about, you probably want to think about that sort of idea, but it's going to be the Wamai instead, so Rafter control could be a little bit harder in that garage.
Yeah, now, Wamai is certainly a bit of a, I suppose, a odd, well, quote-unquote odd ban. It's been somewhat resurfacing here and there, but it's more so just to essentially cripple a team that is very reliant on the Wamai bans. And Elemental are kind of sometimes reliant on the Wamai picks, but it's more so just going to be a game of how more active can you be on the roam now that you have only essentially Jaeger to save your bacon whenever the grenades start flying.
Yeah, I mean, also not to mention, that a team is going to pick Wamai if he's up on Clubhouse on defense. I mean, it's just such a strong pick, especially on that CCTV site. So, if you have a way around it and the other team probably doesn't, then it makes sense to throw out that ban. It's going to throw someone off, but here we go. It is going to be Church and Arsenal to kick things off, like we usually do here on Clubhouse, of course. So, you look over the bans. Probably don't change too much onto this site. In particular, Thatcher's probably going to be the biggest effect on it. But even then, you're still going to see the same sort of deals. You've got the Thermite to kind of get around that anyway. So, still going to be plenty of ways for Elemental to get inside if they want to. But of course, it's all going to come down to the control of that kitchen Cthulhu.
Yeah, the kitchen control is going to be quite certainly a big thing there for Elemental to think about. Same goes for Ferox as well, and how they planning to play it out, because they only have a single set of the impact grenade, so they're only going to be able to get rid of 2 sets of Kairos Hibana charges. But with that said as well, plenty of gunfights could be really taken here as well. And here's also a funny thing. You know how I said that finally Ferox will be playing with a full 5-core? Bit of a psych there, as Sushi unfortunately will not be present here, but instead it's going to be Repix, the Zoff main, the Zoff god of Ferox at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the good news for Ferox is that Repix has actually been popping off, so it's not like it's a huge detriment to have Repix coming in here, even if at all, right? So, you know, it's still sad to not see Sushi this week again, but hey, look, I'm happy to see Repix any day either. So, here we go into it. Fluxus being back this week, the man making his own return. And yeah, here we go, into the kitchen, all electrified up, so we're going to have to find a way to deal with that first before we breach in to that hatch. But here's the other Zoff main, TVCX. He's going to be looking down blue throughout the whole time. But for now, yeah, look, not really much has gone on so far, Cthulhu. I mean, Elemental's walked into the kitchen, but they haven't got the breach open just yet. Although Fluxus has just lost a lot of health, so I imagine he maybe took a peek where he shouldn't have.
I'm assuming it was either the peak or maybe a C4 that did explode. I'm not too sure which exactly happened, but nonetheless, yeah, that's certainly going to be that's not going to be an issue for Fluxus to deal with, but probably later on. Grenade though will be flying in just to make sure that the Kaya device will be gotten rid of, and Supremacists will be going for the breach, and or actually maybe instead it's going to be Cairo. But either way, the breach is going to be solidified, no Kai trick whatsoever, so that is already a good thing. With Oda falling back as well, I believe the last Kai charge is actually going to be on the kitchen hatch. And after that, we'll just have to essentially wait for the breach. And it seems that Elemental has actually abandoned all of the attempts at actually breaching the kitchen hatch, and instead going to be trying to prompt to go for the church push, which is not a bad idea, considering that theoretically it's a little bit more, how should I say it, a little bit more less time consuming than trying to keep on continuously breaching the kitchen hatch.
Well, time is of the essence now. There's only 40 seconds left. They've finally not even gotten all of the Kaya charges out of there just yet. There's still at least one wall electrified, but it is going to be draining the ADS as much as possible. But things got to happen now for Elemental. They got to start making something work, and Ferox are happy to just anchor on down everyone on site. Even Repix is hanging far back at blue, and it's just one approach from Elemental, and it's going to be caught out by Nazgul, and the impact. And he's also going to follow it up with another kill, but TVCX also a double kill of his own. But the gas grenade's now coming out for Shade. Supremacist stopped in his tracks. Elemental stopped in their tracks. Only distance is left, and even he on the Ash can't reach the site in time.
Quite a bit of an unfortunate beginning for Elemental on their attack, although it was still a very valiant effort. They've made the right decisions on essentially abandoning decision to try to breach kitchen, and instead just tried to go for the main stairs push, which unfortunately didn't really work out for them. But the idea that they are trying to adapt on the go is definitely a very solid beginning for their potential uprise further down the line.
The thing for me, Cthulhu, is that it felt like Ferox didn't really have to work too hard to get that result at all, right?
That is true. That is also true. But it's more so just right now, because it's it will be feeling, I would imagine, at least for Elemental, even partially, that it's a David and Goliath kind of matchup. For them, right now, it's more so just, it's a test of their resilience here. For Ferox, I would be more so just expecting them to be a little bit more cocky even on some of the peaks, because they are expecting that 2-0 for themselves very quickly. And if they won't achieve that, well, they're going to start getting aggressive to try to maybe try to force that scoreline partially. Which is where Elemental could really emphasize on that idea, but again, I may be theory crafting way too far and trying to read in between the lines a little bit too much, but the way how it is, Elemental are certainly at a statistical disadvantage, but they are showing some good signs.
Ferox, though, I don't think they were like that aggressive during that match either. I mean, they had just a good defense of the kitchen hatch and presumably dirt tunnel too, because there wasn't any other kind of push from any other angle for Elemental last round. But we'll see if it continues here in the CCTV. There's a little more room for aggression here if anyone wants to push out. Repix, though, I mean, it looks like he's just going to hang out on the rafters and not really run around all that much. Now, Supremacist going to have to be careful with this, of course. The soft part of the wall nice and open, so Ferox should be able to hear pretty much everything that he's going to be doing. Whether he's heating up that blowtorch or stepping to the side. But as we go, what was going on there?
Yeah, so Shade was trying to do an impact trip there, which kind of worked, but it still got the breach. Supremacist got dropped down through his own openings by Oda, but thankfully not yet finished off. So there are still ways for Elemental to make it work. TVCX's presence downstairs should cause enough havoc for Todd to be taken out. There we go. So a solid beginning, but they still have quite a whole lot of road to cover before they will be even remotely close to success.
The good news is they got Supremacist back up and they can get the door open again too. TVCX downstairs making things happen, still making things happen as Distance also gets one onto Shade. This is shambles for Ferox right now. They don't have anything like a smoke to just pray and hope that they can hold people out. It's just Oda and Repix, and they're going to have to be on point with some of these firefights. And well, the first one going pretty well for Oda so far. In fact, not even losing any health, so he's going to be all right. Repix in a pretty safe spot too, but I mean, I'm still not all that hopeful. It's a 4v2.
Yeah, it's definitely odds are stacked here against Ferox, but two of probably the biggest, highest performing operators are here. Well, now one, as it's all down to Repix. Repix has a pretty good aim overall, so he should be able to at the very least get a few frags before going down, but certainly 1v4 situation is quite hard to achieve. Does find one nice very headshot, does find two. Can he find a third one as well? That's a down, actually gets a kill with a pistol. Now Repix already in a 1v1, but Distance has the health advantage at the very least for a few portions. But the pre-fire is just there! Repix clutches it out! 1v4!
How dare you do that to them, man? Repix! I don't think Ferox are feeling the burn for bringing the sub at all. I think it's Elemental feeling the burn for Repix being here. What a round to bring back. Absolutely on point. I mean, I don't think there's much else to say. He just pulled that 1v4 off perfectly.
He just does it. He just clicks head so well, and it's definitely on Elemental here that it was a bit of a, well, borderline thrown round, as they just ended up funneling one by one. That was the issue. Although it's quite hard to coordinate together to push one single angle, but it's still, that's a very unfortunate outcome there for Elemental, which well, hopefully they will be able to redeem later on, because kickstarting your game here, that could potentially result in you dropping into the relegation positions. That will be quite a tilting.
And I didn't want to bring it up, Cthulhu, but after last week's result for Elemental, just dropping it in the overtime, something like that happening 2 rounds in has got to be crushing. I know, look, they're a pro team. They're used to this sort of thing, but look, I don't think it's far to say that Elemental have some of the, I don't want to say luck, but the worst luck in the league I've seen for a while.
Yeah, they have been struggling on a few occasions. But maybe this is what will force them into a better team in the next seasons, if they do end up being able to stick around. That,
you ever played with subtitles before?
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
I don't think we have, actually.
Yeah, no, this is definitely new. I've never played with subtitles in Siege before. So.
I mean, I know a fair few people that do that, and like for one reason or another. But it seems that for now, well, Flugzeus will be not needing those subtitles, as he's just able to track down Shade just like that and pretty much not care a single thing. So an early advantage in man count is certainly a huge thing, but again, plenty of things need to be done before any kind of success will be achieved by Elemental, especially after that second round.
Yeah, seeing as you literally can go 4v1 and not be guaranteed, but another one will fall, and that's Nazgul, so things are, again, looking pretty good for Elemental. That's the Melusi now off the table. The next peak is not going to be so lucky for Todd as TVCX gets another
There we
one.
go.
And here we go. Let's not call it too early here, Cthulhu again, but it's just Oda remaining.
Surely 1v5 with an org is going to be quite a tough challenge to really pull off here. So Oda will be trying to go for exit frags. I'm gonna say that. Might be able to achieve 1 or 2, but I'm highly doubtful that he will achieve an ace clutch here.
Poor man has to go after the last performance for this one. He's going to somehow find a way to rip it back. That's one way, but he's going to outperform Repix, who got the 1v4. Oda now has to get the 1v5. He's got one down and actually does have the diffuser, so maybe can make this work. That's 2. That's 2. I don't want to curse it. I don't want to jinx it, but he has not taken that much damage.
Defender
Well,
is
right now will be finding himself a double kill. What? How is that allowed? Oda, no. Elemental, what is happening? Distance does able to clutch it back in, but
Cairo is saying what we're all thinking. Bruh, what is going on in this one? I mean, luckily for Elemental, they do actually pull that one back. It was not a 1v5, but he did actually legit get a 1v4 in that. He
got another 4K, yeah,
Yeah,
his
he-
teammate.
I mean, he technically outperformed Repix in that, seeing as it was harder to get those 4 kills. So, I mean, well done. Well done to both Repix and Oda, having absolutely popping off matches literally 3 rounds in. I don't know if there's much more to say about that one, but look, Elemental can hold tight in the fact that they got the round at the end of the day. They also smashed it out throughout 99% of the round as well. Remember, there's a reason Oda was in a 1v5 situation in the first place. So, for all things considered, the last 2 rounds have, like, all but technically been Elemental rounds. It's just at the end they lose it out.
Yeah, there's a few oopsies been done by Elemental on a couple occasions, which nearly, led them to a 3-0 scoreline. But look, for what it's worth, Elemental were able to finally get a grip of the situation at the end of the previous round. Distance didn't let the 1v5 happen. But look, right now it's a little bit of a rough start for Elemental. I wouldn't be writing them off just yet because they still have at least another,
locate and defuse the
say,
bomb.
4, 5, if not 6 rounds before any kind of conclusion to the first map will happen. And even then, you still have one more map, which is going to be Oregon. And that map is also going to be, I believe it's still theoretically a comfort ground for both of the teams.
Yeah, I think the amount of times we see Clubhouse Oregon get picked, it's comfort picks for
a whole lot of teams,
quite a
yeah.
lot of teams, yeah. But yeah, we're only 3 rounds deep, and I think Elemental, you absolutely can't throw them out yet. They've basically just had good rounds and dropped them at the end, or almost dropped them at the end of the last one. But here we go. This is the only one that they didn't have full control of in the church and statuary. So
Yeah.
Judge Russell.
This engagement between Repix and potentially TVCX could be a pretty huge one, because if either one of those players dies, then the team that achieved the kill will get quite a hefty advantage as well, because Repix is a crack player right now. Same goes with TVCX. That man is, I believe, currently leading for frags. So seeing either one of those players die is going to be quite a huge issue for the team that loses them. So curious how will things really unravel here.
Well, Elemental might actually be hunting Repix down right now,
Ooh.
and there it is. You can hear the ADS being drained in Fluxus while he was just counting down the ticks until he could take Repix's life. And so they did target him down, and now the next step is going to be getting this kitchen open. Fluxus, he got tickled a little bit last time he was playing around on the soft floor over on this site, but he's going to be a little more careful this time. But it's another good start for Elemental.
Thing is here that I don't think he will be tickled much. Well, just as I say that, we just saw one of the defenders cross around. But the Frag Grenade should be able to deal with the Electric Claw. TVCX just took a hefty amount of damage from the blue tunnel, but is able to run away. And Distance as well finds a shot onto Nazgul. So that ensures that the 1 or 2 of the really good players of Ferox are off the board. Oda is still alive. Shade and Todd are very much able to shut down the push no matter what here.
Shade's in a real awkward spot, actually. There's a hole in the floor, like at a weird angle that's pointing almost directly at him, so
Attackers have located a
he
bomb.
may not be able to get that, be that safe where he is, so we'll have to keep an eye out here. We definitely want to keep those smoke bombs for a little bit later on during the round. 30 seconds. About now would actually be a really good time to see them coming out. Shade pretty much has them all left, so Fluxo's going to start opening up the door. Oda will get the first kill, but it's just a trade. Kairo's currently planting, by the way, and all of a sudden there's only one Ferox member left, and it's Oda. He's over on the site, but he's now going to retake, and he is in a world of trouble. But hey, 1v3, it's better than the last few clutches, but won't go so well this time. Distance will shut any of that nonsense down immediately.
Yeah, there we go. Elemental finally getting their bearings together after a few sloppy rounds, and well, this is definitely a really solid performance from them. They are able to even out the scoreline now between themselves and Ferox, putting it at 2 apiece, and now it is going to be the big decider as to which team will go into potential advantage points-wise before the conclusion of the first half. So I'm genuinely liking already what Elemental are doing. They finally nailing down their gunfights. They're nailing the coordination. I'm liking the frag grenades from Fluxus, especially the one that just landed during the last round onto Rebix. That was a very nicely cooked grenade. And look, overall, this is shaping up like it could be a pretty good matchup. But it also could be partially that Ferox are not really playing to their fullest potential, not to overshow all of their strats maybe, who knows.
I mean, you're going to see what Refix did a few rounds ago and say that. You're going to see what Odin did a few rounds ago and say that. Like, I think Ferox, at least those two players, are certainly coming here to play and showing up for sure. And for Elemental, the good news is they've shown success on every site by now, including the one we're seeing right now, which is CCTV. It's the only one they haven't picked up a win on yet. But remember last time, that was when Refix pulled out the 1v4, basically stealing a round away from what Elemental did. So, you expect Elemental to do pretty well on this one, although, keep an eye over on Mr. Supremacist for that Maverick. He needs to keep alive this time.
Yeah, Supremacist was able to actually get an opening in the previous round and was able to actually help the team, but did get down and outed somewhat quickly there. So, this time, funnily enough, actually, Cairo just decides, you know what, I'm not going to allow the time to be wasted. I'm just going to get an opening and call it a day, really. A electrical from Oda should be able to ensure that the second set of X-Kairos will be gotten rid of, but it's only one single patch of the reinforced wall, which should be electrocuted fairly quickly in a few seconds, as Oda just threw out. And right now, well, Cairo is just going to try to start draining some of the utility, because even though it's not a it's not a boltable hole, it's still a peak hole nonetheless that could be used very strongly.
And it can be used both ways, as Oda's poking out that hole too. But Cairo will eventually poke his head back in and find exactly that pixel that he was sitting at, take away his life. So now, again, it's Elemental with the man lead.
Yeah, cool thing as well, Distance right now is getting all the information from Cairo that there's quite literally nobody playing on the rafters. Nobody is going to be in the oil pit, so right now if Distance just shift W's right into rafters, he takes a huge control over one of the sites, and well, at that point, it is going to be quite a power play from Elemental, I reckon.
Yeah, it's kind of like how taking out Repix down on blue was really good last round. Same thing with Oda. You have full control over that garage if you can get there, but no one's gone for it just yet. Actually, I think I saw someone poking away. Yeah, there he is. Supremacist has taken control. He can even get some extra poke holes in the reinforced wall. Just a surprise. Ferox here, I think Elemental have set themselves up in a good position, but as I say that, Odd locks down Supremacist.
Yeah,
That battle too.
Rebix on the late roam is actually doing quite some work here for Ferox, being able to take out Distance, who, well, unfortunately couldn't really find anything for himself. Shade is still fully well and alive, and Todd's position here is going to be one of the more important ones, because he can hold a really good crossfire, as well as that deny quite a push with the smoke grenades. Unfortunately, that smoke grenade for him does not land, and Cairo will be getting an extra time to really just get the plan going whilst the gas is there and be able to just pump it out. Takes quite more damage, but able to retaliate back onto Nazgul. A flank from Rebix, though, could shift the tide here. One for Todd, that's back to a 2v2. Full control of the CCTV, but TVCX is a little bit more on point. Fluxus gives out the information that there is a Jaeger coming around. He might be actually coming around to stick it, and Repix is taking it. Fluxus needs to go for a push, goes in for the swing, but no, gets down, and Repix just clutches it out again. Oh my goodness.
The man's just toying with us. I thought he was just gonna stick it, and then he didn't, and then he went in the window. I thought he was gonna die, but he turned around and got it anyway, and then diffuses it like a Chad right at the end to secure the round again on CCTV. Look, Repix, man, look, did he get a degree in IT? Because this man seems to be the master of the site.
Yeah, look, 2 times in a row on the same site to be able to clutch it out. That is one way to really flex it. Well, that does set up Ferox for a point lead. They might just be able to run away with another point here on Church because they were able to pretty confidently defend it on the first round. But if all of a sudden Repix will be gone, if all of a sudden Oda or Todd will be taken out pretty early into the round, this could spell, well, unfortunate demise for Ferox and a very fortunate victory for Elemental if they do able to get some early frags, because it seemed that the moment
Attackers need to
Elemental
locate
were able
and
to
defuse as many
establish
bombs as they
early
can.
dominance in the man count within a round, they were able to take full control of the round, no matter even if there was, say, people like Repix, like Oda still present.
It's really giving me strong feelings of last week's match between Skyfire and Bance, where Bance, yeah, they were biting back, but the rounds that looked like they were biting back on, Skyfire would steal them away. Same deal here. That's now 2 rounds, both on CCTV. The Elemental all but had it in the bag, but Repix himself stole away, and they almost let it happen again on another round. So, I mean, good for them to close that one out, but if this sort of thing keeps happening, that could just alone be the difference. I mean, imagine we go to overtime for Cthulhu. Elemental will sit there thinking that they wouldn't even have to go to it. They could be sitting there thinking we don't even need to be here because of that one round before.
Yeah. Look, right now, Elemental need to take it on a round-by-round basis here, not really think about whether there is going to be overtime or not, because right now they need to focus on just evening out the scoreline here for themselves, because defense is certainly going to be a bit of a more comfortable zone. With Cairo, though, opening up on Todd, now that is a huge thing. Getting rid of that Malusi on the blue stairs is going to weaken the position in the blue tunnel. I believe, actually, nobody is yet to be in the blue tunnel, minus Repix. And that ensures that Repix's position after those ADSs will be drained will be naded very quickly, because not only it's Fluxus, but also Supremacists who have the frag grenades.
Yeah, the hatch is already open. He's basically waiting for his demise, but maybe he's learned from last time. We'll be able to escape there if he smells the same plan coming again, but it's very early that Elemental are able to set all this up. So they are walking in here with a lot of time, so they're not going to be rushed. They're going to be able to calculate all this, drone out pretty much as they want right now, like Cairo is doing. So kitchen's clear, everything's clear. They've also got these other points of entry too, so very good vertical little push coming out, but it's going to take more than just killing Todd.
Elemental are currently taking quite some time. Oda doing some phenomenal pre-play C4 stuff, does get rid of Cairo, and that is before any breaching has been done. So now, all of the breaching is actually all up to Supremacist, so he needs to have to pick whether he wants to go in for a very efficient breach on the hatch, or if he wants to start opening up the dirt tunnel and maybe the main wall, because those are pretty much the only few choices that he has. But man of, well, Elemental of the day, TVCX, the man who's been somewhat recently introduced to the roster, my eyes are definitely on him, because he needs to get rid of the position of Repix. He needs to ensure that those clutches are not going to happen, and lock down certain flank routes as well. Fantastic though beginning from Supremacist, does open up onto Nazgul, but a trade-off from Oda nearly nullifies that progress, as well as that shade finding shot onto the TVCX. Now it's all down to Supremacist and Fluxus, and well, with Supremacist now getting into the engagement, does lose him quite a few health points. He is trying to hunt down the push, but right now he's about to walk into a nice crossfire, although denies it. Nice shot onto Shade. 2v2 situation with 19 seconds remaining. The push needs to happen right now, because both of these players do have the diffuser, so it's a matter of going in for the plant and holding down the crossfires.
Yeah, and they actually have the tools to get inside pretty quickly, but that Banshee is just going burr pretty hard and revealing exactly where they are. Repix claims one. Can he claim another before the plant can go down? It looks like he won't even need to. Ferox claim yet another round on the defense.
So a 4-2 scoreline here for Ferox, which is a very good beginning for them. 2-point lead, certainly going to be establishing establishing some solid ground for Ferox to play off. And as Oda pointed out, Supremacy is definitely on the board. He's going in, he's gunning for it. And, well, Church and Arsenal will be the first place to defend, which I reckon is a good decision by Elemental, just to try to get as many points early into their half to make sure that they shorten down that difference in the points and to get themselves, well, a bit more of a competitive chance, I suppose, when they get to some of the tougher sites like Gym, maybe partially even CCTV, given that previously their CCTV hold was a little bit wonky on a few occasions.
Ooh, well. I mean, you look over at what they're bringing on their first attack for Ferox, and that is 3 hard breaches. You've got the Hibana, Ace, and Maverick. They're going to be able to open up just about anything they want, Cthulhu. And you throw on top of that, the icing on the cake is the sledge, and, you know, if you really need it, the Sophia to open up any soft walls. So, look, I don't think you can rely on walls alone if you're going to be Elemental. Luckily, they've got some operators working those walls, but you can see Ferox have clearly got a bit of a plan in what they want to do, at least with those gadgets.
Yeah, Ferox is certainly very much preparing or cooking up something very spicy to be able to open up quite a fair few things. And that's another question that has been kind of asked previously, that debate, whether do you bring too many hard breaches now with the fact how powerful some of them are, or do you bring more utility to just ensure that you have one precise hard breach to then kind of snowball off of that?
Yeah, the good thing is that this comp brings redundancy. You lose Hibana,
True.
Who cares? You've still got Ace and Maverick. You lose one of the others, doesn't matter. Even between Sledge and Zofia, you know, you lose Oda or Repix, it's okay. You've got one of the other ones. So, look, there's lots for them to do, but think about what they don't have. They don't have anything like nothing to track down any kind of gadgets. There's no roam clear. But then you look over at what Elemental are bringing, and it's like, that's okay. You know, even TVCX is probably not roaming too hard. He's probably hanging out down in blue somewhere, as we are very likely can just see his silhouette hanging around.
Yeah, TVCX is just going to be chilling around. I don't think there's going to be any kind of roam play to be done. And Ferox were quite proficient at dealing with the roaming previously, so I don't think that even that will be as much of an issue. For Oda right now, his main challenge here is to stay alive with all the hail of C4s that is about to fly in his side, because that is 1 out of 3 C4s that is yet to be, that has been extinguished. So here now maybe Cairo or Distance could go for a C4 play and could maybe get rid of Oda, but right now Supremacist finally finds the kill. That's a good beginning. Nazgul is off the board, and that is a Hibana. Brings in the redundancy question, how much it's going to actually impact, because right now between Oda and Supremacist, Oda has a higher ground.
I love this. Look at how much of the floor they're opening it up. So much. Supremacist can drop the gas up there as well. Shade is going to be able to try and find something from above, but Repix will be the next one to finally get someone down on the defense. So at least it's even. But that time that I said that Ferox had, it's starting to tick down. They've got less than a minute now to make this one work. At least they've still got all the other breaches along for the ride, but that's not a lot of health bars. Looking over at the Ferox side, only Todd at full health, but Supremacist has now dropped. And with half a minute to go in, make the 4v3 happen. Fluxus had to get more than that, because now Ferox are coming in, and it's all a death and despair. Only Cairo going to try to hold down the drop, but no way is he going to be able to hold that. His teammate drops too. He's lost distance. The C4 just on a hope, and that'll just give Ferox another way inside as they complete the plant, and Cairo slinks away.
And now, going in for the swing, Cairo could actually get a really nice flank here going. Finds a nice shot onto Shade, although Shade was fairly low in health. Oda is 1 HP away from the grave. Same goes for Repix. He's only a few shots away. Pre-fire could be huge, but a grenade is there to deal even more damage to Cairo. This is going to be huge. Gets a kill. That's a 1v1 situation. 24 seconds remaining. Repix needs to just send it, because Cairo could right now very much just well, go in, and
He missed.
that's actually sticking, actually going in for the swing. No, Cairo could have actually stuck it, but Ferox do win out round number 7 and extend their lead now.
Could it have been any more different, but still the same thing to what Ferox did in so many rounds? Repicks himself to shut that down by Cairo as well. Oh no, it's a disaster. They're at 5 points right now. Ferox is so close to that match point, but man, Repix is here and just not only stealing rounds away, but shutting them down on the defense too. So look, I don't think anything can stop this Ferox lineup right now short of a miracle for Elemental.
Yeah, for Elemental, this is becoming an even bigger challenge here to try to do anything, because it seems that their attack was a pretty well-rounded attempt, but defense is seeming to be just utterly being shut down
Defenders
on
protect
each
the
and every
bombs
avenue that
used by
Ferox
attackers.
so far approached. So, look, for CCTV hold, they might just be able to make it, but right now their chances are certainly dwindling, and that is not the scenario that Elemental would want in any shape or form, really, here.
Oh man, it comes back to it again where Elemental is sitting there thinking, like 1, 2, even 3 rounds could have been theirs. The score could literally be reversed for Elemental, but regardless, they're sitting here in this position. They've got to win a whole lot of rounds in a row here. Otherwise, Ferox, they're just eventually going to win one. But here we are on CCTV. It's going to be Elemental's chance to show us what they've got here on this site. Ferox still bringing 3 hard breaches, Cthulhu. In fact, that lineup's the same, just Shade is on the Thermite rather than the Ace.
Arrogant Thermite here is going to be a little bit more of a consistent decision rather than bringing an Ace, because for now,
Mindset.
to get a walk-in hole, for Ace he needs to use 2 of his Selma charges and wait for both ticks to actually go up. Whereas with Thermite, it's as simple as place the charge, wait 3 seconds, you get the breach. That's about it. So as soon as Ferox will get rid of the Kai charge, that is going to be all over, well, for that wall. I am though curious about the fact that nobody's actually attempting to even push the garage. So right now, Elemental might need to start looking into shifting their reinforcements into actually defending the construction, as I'm absolutely amused by the fact that Fluxus was able to run away with no damage taken.
Yeah, I mean, Cops are red ping though, basically BM at this point, but look, they've been slowed down a little bit for Ferox. That's a big wall though that's now actually opened up, but he can go through there at pretty much any point. Will Todd continue to open up the main wall? It looks like not for now. In fact, just leaving the exothermic charge, and they tried to get them through the little hole in the wall, but in fact, it's Todd to fall on that one. That is a rough one to cop there, mate.
Yeah, the thing is here that Todd just opened up just low enough hole to get rid of a mute jammer, but the Repix needs to actually walk up and shoot the mute jammer, because it's low, but it's not low enough, as funny as it sounds. Breach does happen, and Supremacy does take quite a little bit of a damage from Nazgul, I'm imagining. And so right now Ferox are actually shifting their reinforcements to actually get the breach into construction, which is a good idea now that they will be able to get the opening, I believe, in the CCTV wall, which will cut off a whole lot of rotations for Elemental.
Yeah, Elemental is starting to feel a little bit cornered as the utility rains on in. Those ADS going to be empty. Fluxus sees his first pixel, but doesn't find anything from it just yet, but holds his position now, holds the window down, has plenty of Banshees to fall back to, but this is just one side Cthulhu. However, for Ferox, oh no, they find him. They eventually find TVCX as well. Now that's 2 down, the rest should be easy to follow, but as we can see here, it's Supremacist holding the line from downstairs.
Nicely done as well. Good shot from Supremacist as well, being able to find the shot. But right now, Repix is going in with some kills. Distance, though, has a few comments to say about that. The plant will be starting to go down, and Oda will be watching the flank, where Distance might be coming from. So a pre-fire should be just enough, but Distance is actually able to dish out some punishment back as well. Now a pre-fire from, through the wall actually finds Shade. Back to 1v1 situation. Can Distance clutch it out, though? Does run out of ammo in the magazine. Needs to reload, gets in going, and well, right now, still the timer is ticking. 28 seconds, he should be able to long arm it, but right now, just a little bit too open in the in the swing, and oh, there's a swing, does clutch it out. Nicely done by Distance to bring Elemental back and shut down the streak that Ferox had.
Defenders have disabled the bomb.
Oh man, so many mind games with this damn diffuser. We're sitting here wondering whether they're gonna make it a bait, or go for the peak, or maybe just stick it out. Looks like sticking it out is gonna be the winner here, but oh man, another one that just comes down to the wire, and I think that goes back to my point, Cthulhu, in that a lot of these rounds could easily go either way. Almost a lot of them could have gone over to Elemental, but look, they get one back. That's the point. I mean, look, all that matters at the end of the day are the points on the board, but they're still 2 behind. Ferox still have an advantage, but to me, it just feels like each and every round can go Elemental's way. There's no reason it shouldn't. I'm still feeling like they've got a spot here, but I mean, Ferox keeps stealing their rounds.
Defused by attackers.
Yeah, Ferox just occasionally are able to just read in exactly into what Elemental are planning to do and just able to run away flawlessly with some of these performances. So here on Church, this is going to be another retry from Elemental to defend the downstairs site, which theoretically they should now have a pretty good idea about how Ferox are planning to defend this. Introduction of the Mozzie as well as Pulse should be a really good adjustment now that it's, well, drone denial. Now one of the drones being captured is going to be a great thing
5 seconds remaining.
because more info gathering.
Yeah, but the problem here, if you're Elemental, is you look at their lineup, there's no breach denial. They're not going to have any Kayed, so they're going to rely particularly on those impact tricks. Although, hang on, TVCX. Oh man, he might have been relying on that one because Shade just took his head off, and well, Shade gets to keep his, and importantly, gets to keep his exothermic charge too.
And that is a huge initial pick, and so early into the round that Elemental is certainly going to be feeling it. Although they still have plenty of utility to slow down and gather even more information. There is an attempt at roam clear up above, but I don't think there is actually any presence up on the top floor as Repix. Oh no, yep. So Cairo is droning up around. Todd does know exactly where the position is of the Mozzie. Attempts to help Oda to get into the gunfight, but right now Cairo is being pressured on multiple occasions, and right now a swing through the door. Oh, does result in a death. Potentially Oda could be going down as well to a pre-fire, because right now Cairo is certainly making it a whole lot more competitive here.
Is Oda just back to sledging with the hammer? It looked like it through the silhouette, but nope, Cairo was not ready for that one, as Oda will get him, and everyone's fallen down here as Supremacist claims his own and actually takes full control of the blue tunnel. But we've only got 2 defenders left again now here, Cthulhu. It's just Supremacist and Distance. They've got plenty of intel to go off with the Valk cams and the Mozzie drones, but even the heartbeat scanner too. They could find a few little shots through the holes in the floor, but right now they're going to have bigger problems.
Really big heck and hole just got opened up as well. This Shade does relay some more information now for his teammates. Supremacist is about to be all in trouble, and well, does a couple bullets to the head. A swing by Distance does push it into 1v2, but such a little amount of health will most definitely be quite an issue for the man to clutch out. Right now, Shade is just holding a crossfire, so as it stands, Todd just needs to go in for the plan, but they have a minute.
They do actually have one of the default cams in the 90 hallways, so you know, Elemental can maybe play off of that, especially if they have anything else like Valk cams sitting around. Distance knows they have to come onto the site. He's pinned down right on the drop spot, so he can stop anyone falling down. It's going to take a bit more of an aggressive stance, but here comes the utility. The first flashes, and he goes to try and bait any kind of peek, but Shade was ready and takes it with the man advantage. Another round, match point, in fact, for Ferox.
Ferox being able to adjust their tactics now a little bit more to just keep on continuously baiting Elemental into some of the gunfights. Unfortunately for Elemental, does result in their yet another loss, but 3-6 scoreline is still, well, somewhat workable for Elemental, although it's certainly quite a tall order for them to perform here, given that, well, they don't have any more chances to really miss any rounds anymore. Now it's only 1 round away from a victory for Ferox, and certainly Elemental, if not for a dub, they would want to play for an upset and ensure that at the very least, Ferox would only get a single point.
Attackers need to locate and defuse
Yeah,
bombs.
the good news is that Elemental are really just looking for one map win so they can come back next time, but for Ferox, they obviously want the 2-0 and they're off to a cracking good start here, sitting on that match point. However, I'd say, you know, because each round could go Elemental's way, like with not too much effort, considering how many 1v1s we've been seeing going on, then I'd still have to worry as Ferox, right? You still want to take every round incredibly seriously. You know this could easily fall out of your control. Just take it one more round and then you've got the map in the bag. For Elemental, same sort of deal, it's just taking all the rounds as they come, but they get to retry here in the basement and see if they can make it work once more. Last time we had TVCX lose his head at the very start of the round. Looks like he's going to get to keep it this time, but he is moving up very far forward again, along with Cairo. No, Cairo's back down. Don't worry.
Cairo is just kind of chilling for now. TVCX though, playing a little bit of a dangerous game, trying to play around the top of the blue stairs, trying to maybe contest with the repicks. Could have been an issue, but right now it's the trade between Distance and Shade, and as well as that Oda to get a refrag. We'll be ensuring that the Thermite will no longer have a whole lot of fun, which does limit Ferox to a little bit less of a breaching. But again, redundancy, play does come into the full swing here.
Cool. Okay, so remember, they've got distance on the cams like constantly, so if they have anything in the kitchen, this is going to be great for C4 players. Also, remember how much Oda opened up the kitchen floor last time, so Elemental could remember that and could stick around to try and get a counter kill onto him. Here it comes in the hallway though. It's going to be the next ones to open up. The default cam taking out 2, but we'll avoid any kind of C4 play just for now.
Yeah, right now Oda is playing it very carefully. He's trying to avoid that area in a hallway because he knows that there might be a pre-placed C4 where he could die from, which could be a huge thing if he does go down to that. TVCX also close to peeking that very position, but alas, that's not happening just yet. Playing it patiently and very passively, certainly going to ensure that the time will be drained plentifully, and Oda actually does run at least partially into that C4, so takes 75% damage, and well, now we're going to be definitely double thinking about getting into any kind of gunfight, as Nazgul actually relays plentiful amount of information about Cairo's position.
Oh, Cairo does manage to get the drone though, but as the ceiling falls out from above him, he's going to have to run away. They may even just give up that drop spot entirely here, as that hatch should be pretty soon to go down. I doubt anyone's going to be able to impact track it all the way back from where Elemental have been forced back to. But here we are in the final minute, which means things are about to get pretty serious. Let's just make sure the floor is all completely blown up here. Thank you, Oda.
Oh, there we go. There's a kite trick actually coming out
did.
at the last moment. Cairo, fantastic timing as well. That does get rid of one of the Cairo sets, but only one for now. There will be potentially an attempt that Supremacist does get kind of pushed back from the position of the impact trick, and well, the hatch will be opened up, but 20 seconds remaining. This is a proper situation here for Elemental to try to shut down any kind of push, but with Repix gaining control of the blue tunnel, this is an issue. Supremacist needs to get rid of Repix pretty quickly. There we go. Gets rid of him. There's a drop down as well into the side. The diffuser needs to be stuck here now, because right now it's all down to Todd. Todd finds a double kill. Now it's all down to Cairo all of a sudden, and this is an issue. 1v1 situation. The planter has been stuck, and the player has gone down. Nazgul is down though, and Cairo is able to clutch it out in a matter of just a short few seconds.
Oh, the man finally gets to defuse disable the diffuser on this site. He's been waiting so long, about a whole week, to finally get that one down. But the point is, his team is still alive. Cthulu, they get to live another round here. It's now only 4-6. This is still totally winnable, totally within their reach. This is still Ferox's game for sure. They've got a strong, solid lead. But that one looking a lot better for Elemental. I love the way they set that one up. And Repix, I mean, him going down was perfect timing for Elemental.
Yeah, that was
because that was almost about to all fall apart for them.
Yeah, that was just at the last moment of taking that chance away, because Repix was still kind of unsure about if there's going to be a rotation from the church, and well, with his back being turned to the defenders. Well, pretty much he lost that gunfight. So CCTV and Cash going to be the next site to be defended. This was
Defenders,
previously
protect your
defended
bombs from being
by
defused by
Elemental,
attackers.
but it was a 1v1 situation by distance. So here Elemental will need to make sure that they're nailing down their plays, their gunfights, because I don't think they would want to rely on the distance clutching it out once again. I mean, look at this. He already is sitting on 12-6, which is just a huge amount of frags, even comparative to the person who's up next on the leaderboard, and that is going to be Cairo, who's 11-8.
Yeah, or even against his other key player matchup, Oda on the other side.
Correct.
You know, only 1 kill behind him despite being 2 rounds down. So, look, they're looking really strong here. So, still though, with Ferox 2 rounds ahead, you're still sitting in do or die. These 1v1s that we're so often coming down to Cthulhu, you can't afford to lose them anymore. You can't afford to just let Ferox, especially, you know, anything worse than that. Hang on, hold that thought. TVCX! It works out this time. Shade, he's just downed, but hey, look, when you don't take any damage in return, that is all good. Actually, he's got no one there. Someone's got to go get him.
Nobody is there, so right now TVCX can actually just hold a crossfire there and play for a cross, because right now Todd needs to sprint right over there. Shade needs to crawl back while still bleeding out, and I think he could be sniped out of there, or rather Todd could be sniped out, but it seems that neither of the plays is going to happen, and instead just revive and back into play. But still, a damage has been dealt. No more downs here for Shade.
Almost a minute.
And almost a minute has been already drained from just that play.
Yeah, you gotta hope that for Ferox, the other 3 members of their team got something done. Because now we've got to see them open up the CCTV wall, which is just, you know, this should have started like 30 seconds ago. This is so rough to start now for Ferox. Elemental already looking incredibly strong. Shade, though, will not want any holes in this wall until he is well out of there on that much health. From behind, though, looking into Cash, I mean, there's only a bit of droning going out for now. For against Elemental. I mean, look, Nazgul and Oda getting lots of eyeballs, but no push at all just yet. They're barely entering. They've got to deal with Fluxus still.
Yeah, they are currently focused on that room clear right now. 2 drones, as a matter of fact, actively droning out and relaying the information. Finally does get taken down, and Fluxus actually shuts down both of those drones. So right now, at the very least, the general whereabouts are known. But for Ferox, this is just enough to force them to keep on searching for the man. But actually, as a matter of fact, it looks like they have lost the interest and instead just going to go in for the breach, and, well, Shade might just get the plant of the breaching charge done, and, well, maybe later we might be seeing a reappearance of Fluxus later on.
Yeah, but I believe this means the main wall is just not open at all, I think. So, not much for Ferox to really go through. Shade playing with fire here by this window, playing with fire, throwing the utility in with that much health. As you can see, they want to get rid of that barrier first. Smoke bomb to go on down, but I guess it's going to be a few more where that came from, and still a bit of time to go. Repix also incredibly low. Definitely has to be careful with how he's playing around here, but will be able to smoke off any kind of approach or even concuss his distance. Struggling to see where the approach is going to be coming from. But distance, what a god. Seeing that one, it gets traded out, but it might save them the round. Elemental holding on to this one, only 15 seconds left. They've lost Supremacist. Just TVCX, the man on fire. Not hot enough though, as Oda and Todd will shut them down. And it's just Cairo left to hold this one tight. 1 down, so only 2 people remaining for Ferox, and Cairo hunting for them. Sees them coming up the stairs. Where's the plant though? It's going down. 1 down means that they're defenseless for just a few moments. Can they find him? There he is. He gets the first few shots and secures it. But does he know? He does know. He does know. The quad kill for Cairo. And Cthulhu, I think that one makes up for last week. Cairo, you can rest easy.
Yeah, Cairo doubles down on the clutching power this time, ensuring that he confirms all of his kills. And, well, Smite, this does push us straight on to round 12. The scoreline that we, once again, probably, at least statistically, didn't expect Elemental to achieve, but boy am I happy to see this kind of a underdog story to actually unravel. Although, for Ferox, though, this is a little bit of a, I suppose, sloppy performance.
Well, for Ferox, this is actually really scary because you lose 1 map and that can suddenly lose you contention for top 4, kick you out of playoffs. Just 1 map. And now it's coming down to maybe just a few rounds. So They've been on match point for what, 3 rounds in a row by now? Ferox?
Correct, yeah.
They've got one more site to try and conquer, the gym and the bedroom here. And it's come down to so many close rounds. Just one more will do it. One more will do the trick, but for Elemental, one more will take us to overtime.
Oh yeah. Both of these teams really preying up on just being able to win out this very round, which is, out of all the rounds that have been played out, this is the most important one. It's either the overtime or the map win between these two teams, and boy, do both of the teams do want to win out this very round to keep themselves up. So, looking at the lineup right now, once again, Ferox are playing for that kind of very almost basic utility game.
Same lineup, exact same lineup.
No changes whatsoever, whereas for Elemental they keep on changing things around occasionally. We don't see any more of Kayed, so instead we do see the introduction back of the castle. The mute is back into the play. Supremacist will be switching over to the Valkyrie as well. And what I'm liking about Elemental is that for a fair few of their players, they actually are very interchangeable within their operators and within their roles. So this is a good showcase by Elemental for being able to be quite flexible. Whereas for Ferox, they are almost like, you know, that a very sturdy tank. It's nothing, well, generally is broken, but occasionally can get stuck in the mud, occasionally can get a little bit bumpy on the road, but they'll just keep on chugging on.
Am I just getting a World of Tanks lesson here?
Maybe.
Maybe. You can't hide your love from me, Cthulhu. we know where your passions lie.
Look, let's just say I've been quite fanatical on that game for a little bit of time, but it was also quite fanatical as that run out that Supremacist went on for. Nearly was able to catch that kill, but Oda is he's just the better clicker.
Oh man, and he would have done that off the back of a Valk cam too, so really painful to lose that one, but look, at least he can sit on cams for the rest of the round because Elemental are certainly going to need this one. Distance is already just hanging back. He's got a tight little angle as well, but Shade, the man died at the start of the last round and has died in the middle of this one, but will not be able to get back up thanks to distance, but of course, without giving away his position in the gym, he is now eliminated. And now only 3 defenders remain again. It was enough for Elemental before, so no one is counted out. But Cairo, in an awkward little spot, a lot of angles for him to hold down.
Fluxus should be able to hold out a few of the angles, but he needs to worry about one for himself as well. TBCX needs to assist here for Cairo's hold, because otherwise this could be a lost cause really quickly. Todd, about to go in for a swing, could potentially find a kill on either Cairo or Fluxus, but right now it's the plant that is going down on Nazgul. Todd does spot the mute player and tags him up so low, but not yet to kill. That's a plant though down and the escape by Hibana. TVCX needs to go in for a swing and potentially could be doing so. There's the run out, actually gets the kill. The diffuser needs to be stuck now because Oda needs to go in for the swing. Gets rid of one, gets down. Now it's a 1v2 because right now it's down to Repix to clutch it out. Does potentially see the foot, but the shot, the crossfires, everything is just not working out. 18 seconds remaining, and Repix just clutches it out with a suppressed pistol. How is that allowed, Elemental? Such an unfortunate loss, but such a fortunate clutch once again for Ferox.
Oh no, they all went in one at a time at the end, and it just clutched out there at the very last round by none other than Repix.
Oh man.
I mean, do we expect any less from this man? But oh my.
Oh my, indeed. Smite. Because Repix is just absolutely cracked. Him and Oda. Look, those two players are just absolutely unstoppable no matter what. Even when they are being shut down, even when the whole team just falls apart around them, they just don't care. They clutch it out, they get the win, and whip out the suppressed pistol, which is probably the last thing that you would expect in a clutch situation. But hey, what works just works, I guess.
The good news is, Cthulhu, is that we have a match on our hands right now. Even with Repix and Oda popping off, it's not like Ferox are just throwing the ball out the window, right? They're showing up, but Elemental are matching them. We almost went to overtime. We had players showing up for sure, but luckily for us, it's a best-of-2 series. We get another map, so after the break, we go to Oregon to see if Elemental can bring it back on their opponent's map pick. Welcome back, everybody. We are right in the middle of such a good series. kicking this one off. Man, Elemental almost got it done, but Ferox closed it out with the help of repicks in the final moments of Clubhouse, skipping that overtime, denying us, the casters and the viewers, such a great experience. How cruel, Cthulhu.
Well, it was kind of cruel in regards for the Elemental, but for Ferox, well, I don't think they really felt like going into overtime.
I suppose.
Per se. But look, for what it's worth, Repix was absolutely cracked during that game, and, well, rightfully so, did grant his team a dub. So now we are going to go on to what I believe is
So this is
Ferox's map pick.
Yep, to
which
Oregon.
is going to be, Oregon. Now, Oregon has been, like we mentioned before, it is such a frequently picked map to the point where it's, at this point, just the comfort ground for pretty much all of the teams. And it's more so just who can outsmart one another and kind of play a game of a chess, I suppose, here.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit like Clubhouse, where you kind of get the feeling for other teams' style on it, where you kind of know what they swap in and out, and certain operators that just stick around pretty much the whole time, and those compositions don't really kind of change too much. But wait no longer, because game 2 is right up here, ready to go. It's Ferox versus Elemental. Now remember, ladies and gentlemen, Ferox need this 2-0 to stay competitive in the top 4, whereas Elemental, well, they want one map win, because that could keep them out of relegation.
There we go, yeah. Both of the teams are banking on catching a dub here for themselves. They need desperately to find a win in the map here, and, well, with Elemental kicking things off on the defense, certainly this should give them a little bit more of a comfort ground here, but it's still under a very large question mark here because, well, Ferox are certainly a little bit more prepared, it seems, for some of the gunfights, or rather for some of the clutches, it seems. And maybe it's more so the prowess and the experience that is starting to show through for some of the players. But bans-wise, I mean, we got a Maverick ban, which is an occasional pop-up for the Oregon. Same goes for Thatcher as well. That man is out no longer, so Kali potentially will be the next best thing, or maybe even the Twitch. Apart from that, for the defense ban, I'm expecting a Mirror and maybe a Valkyrie, maybe a Maestro ban.
Yeah,
actually,
well,
Womai,
was,
okay.
I mean, it's nice and easy for me to say it now, but
Yeah.
Womai was going to be my other suggestion. It's just another one that a lot of teams are just nice and comfortable on, and, you know, if you want to roam clear nice and easily, it's nice to not have to deal with like a billion magnets as well as the ADS.
Yeah. Plus, it seems that it is what, well, Ferox do really want to actually get rid of, because it seemed to have worked out pretty well during the Clubhouse, and Womai is a pretty solid op to essentially keep on trying to force a fair few positions, or rather keep on saving them, rather. And with that said, well, we are going to be going straight onto the laundry defense by Elemental, bringing in a Mirror that did manage to slip through the ban. Now, that is something that we quite rarely see nowadays, and I'm curious whether the Mirror strats will really work out here, or whether just the plays by, say, Ace and Kali will pretty much just nullify that operator entirely.
Yeah, the thing about the Mirror window is you're going to want to protect it. You make sure it doesn't go down. It's kind of like the Goyo shields, although eventually you want to blow those
Defenders,
up.
protect your bombs
Unfortunately,
from being defused by
you want to
attackers.
keep that Mirror up the whole time. So, Supremacist is going to want to do a good job of holding this one down, but it does create some new interesting types of holds, and we might actually see why it does get banned out quite often on this map. You take a look at defense lineup, no smoke, so you're wondering who's going to hold bunker. Mirror's probably got a pretty good hold of it, of course, has one of the best utility gadgets for it, I mean, maybe Fluxus pops up as well, but...
Yeah, well, the idea I'm imagining is, yeah, Fluxus would be essentially a static replacement for the smoke
seconds to go.
as an operator utility-wise, as well as that if you place those Goyo shields in the right strategical points, you can actually deny quite a fair bit of the push. So it's mostly just a play for kind of outsmarting initially your opponents, and rather than playing for the late game.
Okay, so start of Oregon here. Remember, we went all 12 rounds back on Clubhouse, so expect another tight map here, although quite often, hold that thought, because TVCX is the one to kick things off. And this man, I think TVCX is another player to really keep our eyes on. He's impressed me over the last few weeks, and, well, even tonight, he is just popping off too. So, I think he's going to stick around Cthulhu, and I think he's going to make a pretty big impact on the scene.
Yeah, I certainly would be keen to see him thrive more and more. Well, actually, as a matter of fact, all of those players, I'm really hoping that things really work out for all of them. But there we go, already quite a swing by Oda and Repix, actually, to acquire themselves a double kill. That's Distance and TVCX off the board.
That's quick.
Which, yeah, that was a really quick roam clear, and only to trade off your single soft breacher, which is a great beginning here, I gotta say, for Ferox. That is a very, very yummy trade as well. So now that does leave Elemental at a bit of a pickle, because not only they don't have anymore the option of going for a late flank, now they just need to keep on playing a very defensive game.
They basically just have to win these peeking fights and win them without trading too much damage, if any, back at all. So luckily they've got a lot of really good tools for it. C4 through the smoke is ambitious for Cairo, but that's going to go down, and that means that mirror should fall as well. Well, I can't imagine Ferox are going to let it stand up for too much longer, because they're going to be able to push forward pretty well. They've also got Shade coming in from another angle too, so we're starting to pin Elemental inside with only the 3 defenders remaining. Although those Vulcan shields might be able to buy a little bit of time, you look at how much is left. Ferox still have a minute.
Yeah. That's another thing that we just missed as well. The Kali of Shade actually just used up her last lance that got chewed up by the ADS, so no more of the breaches, or rather utility denials, will be happening, but my god, that is a scary sight when you see a vapor trail of the bolt-action sniper rifle. So the attempt at the plant will be started. There's no presence in the freezer, and Shade is able to pull out very quickly, so that does signify that Elemental right now going to be a little bit scarce for the utility of Fluxus. Another C4 maybe, throws in, just does not reach, but does force Shade off his position. Another swing, that's a kill by Fluxus, 3v2, the plant is being stuck, as Supremacist needs to go in for a swing, it gets the dub, but right now, unfortunately for Fluxus, just cannot land that shot. Last one is the Fresh Blood. Supremacist finds the shot, 2v1, runs out of time, runs out of ammo, and no life as well.
Oh, Cthulhu, the C4 just falling short. Could have denied the plant. Could have denied so much. Could have even kept him alive. But another one slips out of the hands of Ferox. Out of Elemental. Goes the way of Ferox. And now, again, they kick things off. 1 round in the bag. And it's going to be back to the laundry and supply room. Back downstairs to see if they can make it work. It looked like maybe it could happen. But very quickly, Cthulhu, that roam was denied. We had both the Melusi and the Jaeger taken out. This time, Bandit will be popping up over on Distance instead. So with the Bandit and the Kayed, that is a lot of walls you're going to be able to electrify.
Yeah, well, Distance has, well, maybe had different plans, but got a little bit too slow on the picks there. As though, yeah, both Bandit and Kayed should ensure that things are certainly going to be a little bit more competitive there for themselves, utility-wise at the very least. And the remainder of the operators are going to be staying the same. Well, you still got the Jaeger, you still got the Goyo, you still got the Mirror. So everything else should be looking pretty sweet here for Elemental, at least in the utility department. Unfortunately for Cairo, that is not reaching. That is a bit of a far-fetched idea there. Although, he needs to just move it up just a little bit to...
10 seconds
Can he reach it? I don't think he can reach it.
Can.
Oh, he can.
No, he can. Okay, there we go. So, third attempt.
5 seconds
No,
remaining.
Sure. No, that does reach. That does reach the barricade. It just does not reach the hash. And so, that is a very neat way to, by the way, to hide the electro claws, because that does electrify both that one needed wall and that hatch, and prevent from Kali essentially reaching those 2 utility pieces.
Very important to keep that wall on lockdown, especially with the mirror, the black mirror popped up inside of it. But Fluxus very quickly has been pushed out of his own position. But remember, it was all about those roams being denied so early on last round for Elemental. So keep your eyes on Distance and TVCX. They're gonna want to stay alive. Now TVCX kicked things off by grabbing a kill, but look at this. We've already got the drones coming out, the live drones. You've got the Todd moving on around inside. But remember, last round, it had already been found by now. So Ferox are going to be playing a little bit with the clock here, and Elemental might pull that out to their advantage as well.
Yeah. Look, right now, curious how will Elemental will really react, because Ferox looking like they might be going in for a push on through the watchtower, which is you can see that man is just wiggling, just no. But look, in all seriousness, they have wasted quite a fair bit of time and haven't really gotten a whole lot of openings. Flugzeus right now is praying. He's praying to not be drawn out and praying that that angle is not going to be checked.
He's even got a C4 too, so he could be real cheeky with this if he wants to. But the moment he's found out, he is incredibly vulnerable. They've lost Cairo from well back behind the wall, and now next up, that mirror wall is going to fall. But, oh my god, Cairo, Luxus, the C4 comes out, it finds no one, and his life is forfeit. It was all for nothing, Cthulhu. And it's now Supremacist, his own Hail Mary too, but he has to retreat as well. Everyone falls, but at least they get repicks out on the way back in.
So at the very least, there's that. Able to get rid of the Ash player, which is a pretty solid beginning, but still plenty of road to be taken here by Elemental. Gonna be attempting to get the maybe another advantage, but Supremacist a little bit of an over-ambitious swing there will be ensuring he will be staying dead there by Todd. Well, now it's Distance. The man, the myth, the legend needs to clutch it out and solidify his C4 play.
But Ferox was so good at baiting out the C4 before. I don't think Distance is going to get it on his first go. Did he even just throw it out then? I'm not sure, but no, he did. So it's already gone. Distance, he's trying to hold on. TVCX actually getting a lot of work, but not quite enough. And Distance, he may have picked up 1, 2, but it's Ferox to pick up 2 rounds.
And Ferox, once again, starting things off in a very dominant manner, though this time it's them on the attack. They are looking like we might be seeing a much quicker game here, it seems. That maybe partially the morale maybe have been stomped. That is Elemental's one. And, well, for Ferox, they just on the high note currently, just kind of riding the wave, I suppose.
It is quite often, though, we see like a really close game 1 and then game 2 just suddenly goes completely one-sided to the favor team's way, in this case, Ferox. So I wonder if Elemental were hit too much from that last match. It would have been pretty rough to go down on Clubhouse back on map 1, but look, they only do need to really just get like 1 map. That would have been really good to pick up here, but 2 rounds down already. It's not looking good, but look, I mean, that one looked a bit better, Cthulhu. The roam did stay alive a little bit, but was forced back pretty early. Elemental just, I mean, they just got pushed around by Ferox in that round, I imagine. They stayed alive, but they were pushed around all over the place.
Yeah, look, it almost feels, I hate to say it, but it feels like Ferox are kind of just toying around with their opponents. They kind of like, they poke here like, you know what, we're not going to actually push that. Going for another big, you know,
it's all calculated.
It is at the end, it seems like it's all calculated, but it's more so just that it feels like kind of Elemental are being forced through all these hurdles just for Ferox to kind of at the end just kind of yoink the win away and without any kind of remorse.
You're looking for good Valk cam spots, by the way? This is a pretty good one. I mean, just look at everything it's going to be able to see. You can see exactly everything around all 4 of his teammates, even going for a run out. And this is from downtown, but it looks like the conductor is Todd after all. Survives that one on half health and gets the return frag onto Distance. That man now down. Elemental, actually 2 people down. That's TVCX actually gone, but at the cost of repicks, so not completely for free for sure, but Elemental are certainly hurting. Not even a minute into round 3.
Yeah. Well,
Attackers have located a
now
bomb.
Ferox will be once again hurting only a little bit. Oh, a little bit more. Cairo, that is a fantastic headshot there. Very long one as well, gotta say. Flugzeus is preparing a C4 as well to throw out, which could actually deal just about the right amount of damage, but the health difference is actually just about the same between the two teams right now.
Fluxus. I think he's waiting for a few more shots to come out, maybe to give him some idea, but I think Ferox are actually looking at this hole, so they may be prepared for a C4 to come flying through. Let's see if they were. No! It was only Nazgul, but he was not prepared at all. Fluxus, he's looking to push his luck even further to get another one. May claim a drone, may claim a life, but no, won't finish that one off. Supremacist himself has also dropped pretty low during all of that, but only 2 attackers remain, Cthulhu. Elemental might be able to shut this one down.
Yeah, well, neither Todd nor Shade really have a whole lot of, well, options as, oh, actually a 1v1 situation, but very quickly redeemed here. Fluxus does finally close out the round. Third round once again now goes into the hands of Elemental, as they are now slowly crawling themselves back up to the draw here between themselves and Ferox. But look, this was a much closer round, I feel. It felt like Ferox nearly were able to swung the final man count into their favor, but Elemental were just one step ahead, I feel, with their gunfights.
Yeah, I think the big difference is that back on Clubhouse was that in rounds like that, Ferox would just win. Ferox would just snap it up and get a really crazy clutch 1v3 or just win the 2v3 flat out. This time, though, Elemental stayed composed. They kept Fluxus hidden. No one pushed their luck. And we got a few cool things like a C4 kill. So everything went right there for Elemental. That's the kind of rounds that they're looking to pull out as we continue on in there. I saw Warden pop up and, well, it looks like it did in the end, actually, get locked in here, Cthulhu. Fluxus. There's 4 C4s.
Yeah, that's quite a whole lot of C4s as well to use. And, I mean, we saw a few Warden picks, especially on Oregon previously, which did work out pretty well. So I'm curious how will this very pick work out, because there's no theoretical utility counter here against Fluxus.
Think about how he was playing Goyo before. Imagine Warden standing there.
I'm assuming that is exactly his plan here, so maybe we shall be seeing that very play, although I don't think he's going to save himself from getting droned out, so that is going to be more so of a question, how well can his teammates cover him?
Yeah, and the fact that he even got in that spot in the last time was impressive, just in its own right. So, of course, the spot we're talking about, very pushed up in the corner of Bunker. So, we'll keep our eyes over there on that certain hold, but already it's repicks to go down to Distance. That is a massive amount of value that Distance just pulled out for that one. He's even close up shop and just pull on out of there. That is a great way to kick things off here on round 4.
Yeah, with the repicks once again going down fairly early, that is certainly not the best case scenario that Ferox do want, although they were able to clutch it out previously. They know, at least partially, or have a hunch that may be a roam by TVCX, and they did pre-nomad that one of the doorways. So at the very least, they should get a good indication of when the flank is going to be happening. For TVCX, though, that is the indication of him needing to either switch the locations or start going in for the push, because Oda is already completely now distracted onto the gunfight by the pillars, and it's taking more and more damage.
Yeah, he's got the air jabs to keep him safe from behind for now, but does have to be careful of TVCX and his own gunfight too. But here we go, TVCX burst up, seeing if anyone's outside, but he's really hunting for this man here, Oda, who sniffs out the hunter. So really, it's gonna be just the gunfight here as TVCX shows his head, keeps it on, and gets out alive. He's gonna try and go for a pre-fire, but it was all just looking for luck as he falls down. In fact, Cairo down too. Means Ferox, well, they would have taken a lead if Shade hadn't fallen down during all of this as well. Oda, that's the swing that counts, but it's still just a train at the end of the day. Oda almost dead. Everyone almost dead here, Cthulhu. Supremacists, Distance, holding on to their health.
Nazgul as well is fairly healthy as well, so could potentially take one of those more so questionable gunfights, but the fact that Oda wasn't able to really do much is certainly making things a whole lot tougher here. Shade is about to go in for a swing, could potentially find himself a shot onto maybe Supremacist, but apart from that, really, oh, there's a swing. That's a very ambiguous one, and does actually work out pretty well here for Supremacist to find Nazgul, but gets traded out pretty quickly. Shade, now being completely wobbed on a regular, will be trying to get rid of the Banshee device, but apart from that, can't really do much. Cairo, Distance, and TVCX are still very much well aware about all the whereabouts, and Cairo nearly finds a shot onto Shade. Oda is out of the equation. Now it's down to Shade, and I believe he just saw the cross. Ooh, nice melon to be popped. But 15 seconds remaining, barely any health, but so are his adversaries. The crossfire is there, so needs to find a very good snap of the shots, and well, doesn't find one. There's a crossfire. Cairo is just better.
Yeah, I mean, for a while there, it was always going to be very hard for Elemental to just let Ferox in. At that point, they'd whittled them down so far. You had attackers on barely any health at all. So another one now in the bag for Elemental. That's now drawn up map. It looks like we are going to get maybe a bit of a repeat from Clubhouse, because this one is nice and close for now, but we'll give it a few more rounds to really tell, particularly once we saw signs. But it's off to the meeting hall in the kitchen now instead. No more of the basement. I think we're over that for now.
Yeah, after the win by Elemental finally on Laundry after the third try, certainly were able to get themselves running. So meeting hall in kitchen is one of those sites that is kind of similar to how gym is being approached on Clubhouse. It's a tertiary site that some teams are really good at holding, some teams are not particularly good at, well, rather
Attackers need to locate
having
and defuse
set
bombs.
strats and playing more so for just adaptation. Elemental here could potentially play for adaptation and play for maybe some of the roam game, but it's still kind of up in the air. Supremacist pick on to Vigil is certainly a good sign that we might be seeing some vertical presence, especially Kids Room and maybe Attic. Apart from that, TVCX's pick onto Castle, though, does leave me at a little bit of a question, because usually we see TVCX to play out on more so fragging op. I'm not saying that Castle is a bad fragging op, it's just there are better choices, and as stated by, well, one of the top NA players as well, UMP is just better than even some of the higher rate of fire guns. So maybe. I mean, I've been getting quite a fair few frags with the UMP, although I, for some ungodly known reason, cannot hit a single thing with the Kite's AUG.
Yeah, well, look, if you can hit it, then I'm sure TVCX is going to be able to manage.
Surely.
But looking over at Supremacist, right? Like, he's been having a monster game, so throw him on the Vigil, see what can happen. You know, I kind of like it from Elemental. It's how they have been winning a fair amount of their rounds, letting Supremacist in distance kind of go nuts, even letting Fluxus be creative. So this is all, I like it from Elemental. Now let's see it in practice for now. Shade is going to be moving on in first, looking for any roamers, any naughty boys who might be looking to ruin the push right at the very end. But we'll not find anyone just yet.
Repix looking a little bit jumpy there, knowing
a little bit
that he got bulldozed 3 rounds in a row early on into the round is certainly not the best feeling. With Supremacist now gone, though, for Fluxus this is going to be an issue, because his position has been revealed, or I believe that was, rather Cairo. But for Cairo, this is definitely going to be an issue. He is in a little bit of a suicidal position and, well, gets shut down very quickly. Distance wants to fall back, but takes another chunk of damage. His C4 has been denied as well. For Ferox, this is a phenomenal beginning, though. Ridding out of all of the roamers, as well as that tagging one of the other players that is mute to half health. Great beginning, without trading out any bit of health.
Yeah, it's the sign of a very successful first phase. You've cleared out the Romans and paid basically nothing for it, right? Like just a few bullets, really.
Exactly.
No, Oda is going to just jump back out here. But for now, yeah, right, look, Elemental are on the ropes again. They've been in this position before. It didn't look so good last time they lost their Romans, but at least there's a little less time for their opponents to work with this time. But still a minute in that swing around the corner. May have been a mistake for Repix as he is taken down. This could save Elemental's round. That C4 was really looking for a bit more with that one. You've got Todd on the hunt too, but with Oda getting his own kill, well, we're back to Ferox being solidly in control. TVCX, he's got so many angles to hold. He is not safe from anywhere. And you can see the smoke now coming out, signaling the final push. He's going to just rotate out. Actually, this could be really clever. Keen eyes could see that laser. He's going to be kind of careful, but anyone who can see from below could save the round, Cthulhu. But here we go. It's got to be Ferox coming into plant now with not much time left at all. TVCX grabs one, but he's now left alone to hold off for just a few more seconds. He might be able to get this one done, but nope, they spot him out immediately, and Oda will take him away, giving another one over to Ferox.
This is by far one of the more dominant rounds by Ferox. They were able to set up a very solid pace for themselves in the early round, being able to get rid of both of the roamers very cleanly. And yeah, from there on, they just isolated the whole of the site and, well, got their dub. So now for the final round of the first half of map number 2, it is going to be Kids Dorms and Main Hall, which was one of the sides that was initially won out by Elemental. So potentially we might be seeing a draw within the first half conclusion, but with that said, so many times we said that there might be a draw, and Ferox just kind of ran away with a win at the last moment. So I'm expecting everything and anything at this point.
Yeah, it's certainly been one of those sorts of matches, right, where each round just goes back and forth. Even when someone has a 4v1 situation, you still can't even call those sorts of rounds, but that's the type of siege we love to see. So shout out to the two teams competing today, particularly because this series means a lot to them in terms of the leaderboard. You know, this one singular map means basically just as much to either side right now. You know, Ferox for the playoffs, Elemental to avoid relegations. Either one to lose could be at risk of one of those bad things happening. So, let's complete this half. Let's see what it's going to look like when we swap sides, because that is where the real challenge comes out, particularly for Elemental who are on the ropes. But, here we are, back up on the second floor. The Bandit's back here for Supremacists. He's still going to be roaming, but importantly, TVCX. It's on the Jaeger now, not the Castle, so maybe he's going to have his opportunity to pop off.
Yeah. He's back into his element, so maybe he'll be able to pop off here. Repix already making an entrance into the armory. Now that is a good foothold to establish from the get-go. Does hear the shots of Fluxus, but doesn't know exactly where the man is, so we'll need to wait for the drones to really start conveying some of the information, as Fluxus just keeps on battling it out. Another drone to be used by Repix this time, and if there is a flying C4, that could be the end of the Ash player. Goes in for the swing. Can he find the shot? Does find the shot onto the Valcam though, so that is a solid start, because no more of the outside the site information gathering, and Repix is just about to maybe go in for another swing.
Yeah, so incredibly valuable when you can score those Valk cams, but we're waiting for the next swings, because for now it's just denying those Bandit batteries, pushing Supremacists back, and as you can see, he's trying to anchor quite hard. No roaming for this man on the Bandit. He's just going to hold down the stairs, and for sure that's going to be very important, but Elemental have held on to everyone. The C4 in hand for Fluxus. Going to try to trick it out to deny any further breaching coming out by the Ace, and Nazgul will unfortunately only get the one peek hole instead, and will get peeked out of it by Fluxus too to claim that kill.
Fluxus, amazing opening. Same goes for distance as well. Gets rid of Todd. That is a big opening here for Elemental to draw out the scoreline. Although we've seen so many times, so many comebacks. Repix is still alive. Oda is still there, so things could certainly happen in favor of Ferox very quickly if they do intend to do so. But Oda gets shut down. TVCX, fantastic peek. Doesn't lose any HP. And while the air jab has been triggered, but gets shut down by Repix. 2v4. With 56 seconds remaining, Repix pushes it into 2v3 now, making it a much more competitive 2v2. Shade now pitching it onto the whole dilemma, but Repix is right now very low. Fluxus in distance, full health, well, almost, as Shade does find the location of one of the defenders, but still completely unknown about distance.
These are the sorts of rounds, Cthulhu, that you don't want to throw away if you're Elemental. Fluxus's position may be compromised here, so he's going to hold the line. But for now, be patient, stand back, hold the cover down. There's only 20 seconds left, and not a lot of health on these attackers. Elemental just need to not drop the ball here. Repix needs to go for the peak and the swing of his life here and get the shots on point. That's one, that's two! Elemental secure the round here. They don't drop that one down. And finally, they secure a round against Ferox here. They're not letting them slip away anymore, Cthulhu.
Yeah, there we go. We do see finally Elemental do stick out through the first half to push it into a draw. So this is a solid beginning for them. This is the map where they have played for a fair few times as well, so they should be pretty knowledgeable about how Ferox should be playing this out. So next up is Laundry, but this time it's Elemental on the attack, and well, gotta say their attacks have been pretty interesting. Nazgul switching over to Clash. Now that is a very peculiar decision, for the sheer fact that we've very rarely seen Nazgul play Clash, but decides to opt out, and well, back to Mirror we go.
Okay, but it almost seemed like it prompted the swap to the Hibana from the Ashe, but maybe already on the minds of Elemental, so maybe we'll call that a little bit later, but that's a little less power on the swing now. So really going quite utility heavy on the side of Elemental just to break into the side itself. They know those mirrors are going to be really annoying to deal with. You definitely want to be able to track them down. So maybe even just having the Hibana might help that one down too. You look over at what they've got though. Oda's back on that Kayed, so those walls are certainly going to be electrified. Going to be certainly a little bit hard to get rid of a lot of this beautiful, beautiful utility coming out of Ferox. So we're also bringing a pretty utility-laden lineup.
Yeah, the utility lineup is certainly there. Curious how will Elemental will rather deal with it and how will Ferox play around with it. But looking at both the teams, it's looking like both of them will be able to frag out pretty well. The main thing here is how will Elemental deal with that presence of Shade in the small tower, because Shade already punishes distance and gets rid of him. So now that does push us into a 1v1 situation here for Shade to deal with, and potentially could shut down Flux Zeus, who just breached open the window. And right now Shade is being cornered, but still he seems to be quite in control of his situation and position.
The only way Elemental, oh hang on, that frag pushes him forward. Shade somehow makes it work. It's gonna be a trade, but look, Shade took 2 lives, not 1. And so that is totally worth it if you're Ferox.
Yeah, this is certainly Ferox favored trade out of all of them. Trading out your soft and a hard breacher for just only a single aroma. That is not the way to go, but
A bomb has been located.
well, certain things happen, and right now Elemental need to really stick through them.
Yeah, I mean, look, if there's any saving grace, at least it kind of happened kind of quickly, so you've got more than half the round to fix what went wrong for Elemental, but looking at the lineup they're going into, you're going into a mirror, into a smoke. They're not easy operators to get around with, especially when you've got the numbers disadvantage, although TBCX, he finds Nazgul, and that mirror's now gone, so I mean, maybe I should just stop talking, because it seems like they don't care about what I've got to say. Repix, he's been having a hot one for sure. Needs to make this round count, though, if he wants his team to take the lead. He's pushed up quite aggressively, but I feel like Elemental are smelling this one out. And they've just lost Todd on the defense, too. Maybe Elemental can make it work.
Most certainly looking like it. TVCX pushing this into the favor of Elemental. All down to Repix. He has clutched before. Push it into a 1v1. Gets away with full health. TVCX versus Repix. Both of these players, both of those amazing fraggers, can they find the clutch though?
Cue up Jewel of the Fates, because this is the 1v1 I'm looking for. TVCX hangs out with the concuss, but Repix stays strong with the courage of 1,000 suns. He's waiting, and there is his prey. The fire comes out. Repix drops incredibly low, but stays alive and wins the duel. TVCX will fall.
Once again, Repix is just absolutely nuts. And, well, just clutches out, I believe, what, that's 4th round within this whole matchup?
Man, if I ever am playing Siege, and it gets down to a 1v1 between me and Repix, that round's already lost. And I feel like that's just going to be the case for anything, because, look, I would just leave at that point. The amount of clutches this man has won, the amount of rounds that have been secured or even stolen by this man, Ferox should be loving that they've got Repix on their team this series.
Yeah, it seems that introduction of him instead of Sushi has certainly upped the general performance of Ferox, and certainly does show that the man is able to bring things back very consistently.
And defuse as many bombs as they
And that is quite a statement as well. Being able to consistently clutch up, now that is one way to make a statement. So props to Repix for being the mad lad he is and being able to just pull off those clutches. But also a bit of an unfortunate outcome for Elemental, because so many rounds they could have taken, but it all got thwarted by literally just a cracked aimer. At this point, that's the only way to really describe it, really.
It literally has been several rounds just decided by that, thanks to Repix and his cracked aiming, right? Like, it's come down to his gunfights. He wins the peaks, he wins the clicking on head contest, whatever you want to call it.
seconds left.
He's on top right now, and you know, it might sound like we are gassing this man up a whole lot, but
Objective is to locate
you know,
a
you
bomb.
get excited when it happens once, sure. But when it happens several times in a round, in a night even, there's something a little bit special about that man's performance. So, let's see if it keeps up, because he's not quite finished out just yet. Elemental, certainly, apart from all these Repix shenanigans, despite all of it, Elemental have been fighting back hard.
Oh yeah, Elemental just certainly doing some phenomenal job on a few occasions, but just can't seem to be able to keep up with certain rounds against Ferox. So maybe this is where they make it and just break the bad luck streak, I suppose. TVCX playing a bit of a interesting angle, will be attempting to just disrupt any kind of pushes out of the attic, and well, rather just won't be seeing anyone. Instead, Shade with the TCSG having a very, very tight angle. Might potentially go in for the run out, but instead just goes in for the sound cue and just bails out of there, just to force maybe a few of the Elemental players out of the positions, as Fluxus just gathers some huge amount of information.
Yeah, but what are they going to be able to pull off out of it? That's, like you said, a lot of information. The first pull comes from Shade, in fact, and that's TVCX now gone. Thanks to the man from downtown, Shade. Taking that out, I mean, this was your hero last round. He did go down, though, but look, now you're down a man, and it is TVCX. That's rough. Todd now is going to be the next man standing in line, and Elemental seem to have just not made any distance at all yet.
Yeah, not a whole lot, really. Couldn't even get a proper vault in right into the attic, I believe. But well, the show must go on. Fluxus does spot one of the Val cameras, so at the very least no more of the passive info gathering will be done there. And well, there's a breach attempt that will be happening. No bandit tricking, no kite tricking, but instead Todd just going down to that pre-fire. And Fluxus will be definitely quite happy about having a 30-round mag just to keep on pre-firing. But Oda has something to say about that, though.
Yeah, Oda has come back for the reinforcements, but it's definitely being sniffed out right now by Elemental. They know, Fluxus knows, they go for the swing anyway, make it out alive too, so pretty good amount of value they just scored for themselves. Elemental might actually bring this one back, but as I say that, they've just lost a distance as well, so still even, but 20 seconds left, 2 people left. Nazgul holding down the line on the Kaid of Fluxus. He's got a nice, dirty little angle, but cannot climb through that window. So instead, it's up to Supremacist now, but he's cut down by Shade from the outside. Shade on a triple kill. It's just Flux now. He's sprinting to find a way inside. Where's that diffuser? He does not have it and can't find the frags. Nazgul finds him. Another one bites the dust, and another point in the bag for Ferox.
Yeah, look, Ferox right now are able to run away with just another 2-point lead for themselves, setting themselves up for potential success here, but it's only 2 more rounds, and we've seen previously when it was pushed into a 6-3 scoreline, we're nearly seen Elemental make a full-blown comeback. So maybe this could be a repetition here, but it's certainly going to be stretching their capabilities of being able to bring it back, because, well, when you don't have any more ground for any mistakes, when you've used up all your chances, it really does take a toll on the morale and on the mental game. So, kitchen dining. The side that, like I mentioned before, is more so used as a tertiary one, could potentially be the one to be taken here by Elemental. Although, we still yet to see... Oh, pardon. I was about to say we still yet to see laundry, but we actually did see. So, Kitchen and dining is going to be one of those more so just kind of, I suppose, experimental setups. Although it's looking like Ferox do have some sort of
Attackers have located a bomb.
pre-play strats to just set themselves up and just get a really nice hold. That triple stack of Jaegers, though, that is one way to meme it up.
Yeah, that's quite a lot. Someone's going to be living down there for the foreseeable future, probably stocking up on toilet paper and all that good stuff for the lockdown, but yeah, interesting by Ferox. They also did a 6-pick onto the Alibi too, so definitely some sort of shenanigans potentially going on. Todd also, with his outdoor cams, might opt for a bit of a peek out as well. I mean, this is all stuff you want to do when you are 1 round away from match point. Like 1 kill on the right person could just secure you that match point. Cairo has been seen entirely, and he could be the victim right now if they keep eyes on him. Todd as well has been watching, I think it's distance here throughout this. Now,
Poor Distance was not having a fun time really throughout this whole map, and that shows even on the KD. And can't seem to be able to catch a break, and maybe here this is where he's gonna shine, like Rebix, who was getting shut down left, right, and center in the first 3 or 4 rounds. Maybe here Distance will be able to finally find his call, I suppose.
well, he might have to, because Elemental need to start swinging back some rounds, so maybe Distance could be the difference maker. Todd, oh, he's playing with fire, trying to get through that rotation hole, but hasn't died just yet. So that's going to be okay, but we know that they've got to find Repix. Todd also below them, hunting with a C4. Repix has his way out too. This is going to be a really hard roam for Elemental to clear. It's already been a minute for them to clear it. All the utility now coming out. Can Repix get out of this one? I think he should be able to, but what is going on? Because Ferox have just killed 3 people.
Yeah, Ferox completely shut down Elemental's push and just kept on proceeding to just hold all of the angles. Not a single bit of health has been drained from Ferox. And with that said as well, flawless round from Ferox. Probably one of the cleaner defenses that they've had for a while. And well, there we go. Match point for Ferox on a 6-3 scoreline yet again.
Whoa, and that is what a round can look like if things start to go Ferox's way very quickly. Now, we've seen Elemental take the leads a few times as well, but it's been taken back by Ferox pretty often. But now we're back to that lovely situation, do or die. Elemental, that could very well spell out the rest of their season.
Yeah.
Because if they drop this map, and Bands picks up and map it tonight, or maybe next week they do better than Elemental do next week, that's relegations for Elemental. So, very much could be do or die for these final, maybe 3 rounds.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see. A little bit of a late one. I think we just saw an ace 6-pick. Yeah, there we go. Cairo at the last moment switched over from a Ying to an ace. So we shall be seeing plentiful amount of breaching to be done here by Elemental. Inside of Ferox, well, they don't seem to be changing anything really. Just all the same lineup that they've been sticking through pretty much throughout their whole second half and not really caring about it at all. Todd's pick of smoke has been working out pretty well. So yeah, there's nothing bad to be said about either one of the lineups from both the teams. It seems that at the end of the round, the gunfights that are being lost, and for Elemental, it's just either just unfortunate and horrible timing, or it's just some unfortunate aiming.
Or Repix.
Or Repix just decides to just go ballistic.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of rounds where that has happened, but in this one that is, again, do or die, we're back down into the basement. So Elemental may struggle onto this one, but Distance has made some pretty big distance already. Same with TVCX, who's got his own frag onto the mirror. And there's Distance claiming another one.
Okay.
And that's Repix.
Distance is doing just Ash main things, just charging right into sight. There's already quite a wipeout as well. Oda does manage, though, to pick up a kill onto TVCX. Might be finding another one onto Fluxus, but right now in a 1v3 situation, he's being pinned. C4 to be ripped and thrown off will only be serving as more so of a distraction, but Distance closing it out will be making sure that Elemental will be staying in for just 1 more round. But my goodness, it began really fast and just as fast it closed off that whole round.
And it all began and ended with distance, actually. Oh, I think someone else
yeah.
technically stole the first kill, but...
No, Distance got the first kill.
Yeah, okay, well, there we go. It began and ended with Distance in that one, keeping his team alive for sure. I don't think he dropped any health either. Oda almost read him like a book at the end, and then maybe things could have changed, but like you've been saying, it's coming down to gunfights, and I think that was a good example of it, where Distance just really claimed in. I mean, very aggressive push too, so it may have been a surprise he can kind of only throw out once without Ferox being ready for it, but hey, it steals the round, it keeps them alive, and now there's only 2 they're gonna have to find.
Yeah, only 2 in a row, that's still very much workable. They weren't nearly able to do it previously and push it into overtime, so things could certainly happen here, and same goes for Ferox. They just really need only 1 more round to really close it out. So once again, they're going to be attempting the laundry. This time, I'm assuming, expecting for Distance not to rush the site, or rather be a little bit more prepared for whenever the prep timer runs out. So we'll have to see how that will really unravel. But apart from that, well, the only change that we do see is just change around, I believe, and just who plays one operator, I believe.
Yeah, all the operators are the same.
All operators are just the same. It's just literally just being interchangeable between a few of the plays, I believe. That is, if my short memory serves me right.
Yeah, I mean, the only real changes you see is like whether Ace kind of shows up, or
yeah, it's either Ace or like Thermite,
or even Kali. Like if they decide to bring Kali. But we did see that Ferox prepped this green door here, so maybe they've got something, but it should be pretty easily spotted out by Elemental, so probably not all that scary for them to find out what's going on. Of course, the door's already down, but Nazgul, he was watching the whole time. Maybe he was trying to like surprise someone coming out from Elemental. As you can see, he's got full info, and this is the life when you are a mirror player. You get to sit back and call out for your team the whole day. You don't even have to aim. You just have to sit back here and be like, yep, they are all still here. And there are 3 of them. Or at least I know you can see at least 2 confirmed, but the 3rd one around the corner maybe not. But that is a lot of info still to go. Now the openings for the soft wall come out, and that gets Elemental's attention for sure.
Oh yeah, Elemental certainly do want to open it up, but Nazgul with a throw just like that just sends over his C4, quick cheeky packet, and well, that's quite an explosion that Fluxus unfortunately couldn't deal with. So another peek could potentially also result in the demise of the Ace player, and a blind pre-fire could have also claimed maybe a few lives, but instead it's just, well, just a kill trade actually, a flurry of kills to come out. Supremacist to claim a double before TVCX gets traded out by Todd. Shade finally finds Cairo. This is a 3-2 scoreline. Now it's all down to Supremacist and Distance to really make things work, and both of these players are very much disconnected from one another.
Very separated, and that diffuse is sitting there on the ground too. So Supremacist has to get a lot of work done here. Oh, that pre-fire does not take his head, but his position definitely compromised. Where is Distance is the question, because Supremacist, he can't find his kills, and he might not last too much longer here. There's still a whole minute to go, and Distance, as we can see, is probably about to head down the stairs. And there he is, so with a few gas grenades now coming on out, it looks like Elemental might have enough time to clutch this one out, but they have to clutch it. This is match point. And so that diffuser, oh, Todd is so far up, holding this one down. He's got the shield, those ADS about to run out, but it's got to be Distance to claim the shield for sure. Todd surely can't do this for too much longer, but every second counts. He goes down, but he bought about 10 seconds. That could be enough time. They've got the diffuser now. And now it's all about planting it. Only Repix and Shade remain, who are going to be happy to anchor all the way back. Repix very far back, holding down one line, and Shade the other. Now we just wait to see if that plant goes down. If they can claim it. Repix actually getting aggressive, and Shade did it at the same time. Ferox, they're not going to let this one go to overtime. They're not going to let it go another round. And they're not going to drop a map either. They claim that 2-0.
Well, there we go. Ferox do finally claim the points. They have managed to push themselves up into that top 4 position right now, where they're going to be contesting between themselves, PC419, Skyfire, And Rufflecopter as well.
They're technically first, actually, I think. 8 plus 3 is 11, which is what Rufflecopter are at.
So a tiebreaker.
If my math does stay correct, then yeah, disregarding round difference and tiebreakers, yeah, they are technically tied first with Rufflecopter now. But, of course, Cthulhu, Rufflecopter are playing a bit later on. So, I mean, what a series coming out from that one. We thought it was going to be a little easy for Ferox, for sure, but Elemental, it feels rough to have them come out so strong this late in the season, but that said, though, I think a lot of their players got a good chance to really perform well and kind of show off as well.
Yeah, we've seen quite a few good performances. I mean, even the most recent introduction of Supremacists to the Elemental roster did really bring a fair few really good rounds, some good performances. Unfortunately for Elemental, though, battle against Ferox, against the giants of LPL Pro has been just a little bit too big, and, well, probably partially, at least, the success of Ferox should be allocated to the man himself, Repix, who's most definitely will be getting at least one of the spots of the MVPs voting for tonight.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, I can't imagine anyone else getting the vote for an MVP.
Oh, yeah.
At least for that match. But then also, you got to think like Red Bull fan vote. Like a performance like that is probably enough to get a whole lot of fans as well.
Yeah. Namely as well, TVCX, I gotta say, the man was very consistent about his performances. He's been able to get some really good frags, push himself and his team into some of the advantages, and just keep himself afloat, really. So overall, this has been a pretty good showcase by Elemental, but unfortunately for them, not a single point.
And they'll need to find those points next week because that's the last week of the round robin for them. And they're currently in contention for relegation, but we'll have to look at the exact specifics on the tiebreaker situation. But that can all change at the end of the week because we've still got 3 more matches, one of them being tonight. I said it was going to be Rufflecopter, and after the break, they're going to be playing their series against Exto Gaming. Welcome back, everyone. We've got one more match to go here in LPL Pro Season 3 Rainbow Six Siege, brought to you by WD Black. Now, we just saw a pretty fun little series by Ferox getting that 2-0 against Elemental. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't be too surprised to see that result, but if you want to see a good little performance from Elemental, definitely go check that one out because they fought back pretty hard. But we move on now, Cthulhu, because this one is certain to shape up the leaderboard here, particularly that top 4. It's Exto versus Rufflecopter, and this one is going to be a doozy to jump in on into.
Yeah, well, let's straight away have a look at the rosters as well. Exto Gaming, the team that kind of seen a bit of almost a fall from grace right at the end of the Season 2 and had a little bit of a shaky performance during Season 3, has been seeing a few of the changes in the roster. We do see Dark make a return to the team after Ed Pan's departure from the roster. As I was told as well tonight, we shall not be seeing Jordy due to some unfortunate circumstances, as Mudpack will be the stand-in for the game. And this certainly sets up a very odd picture for Exto. Whilst they have, on one hand, they have Oblivion and Dark, 2 absolutely phenomenal players. Dark single-handedly was able to sing quite a great amount of rounds into his team's favor.
A very Repix-like performance.
Yes, a very Repix-like performance. In all the good meanings, by the way, in case anyone takes it wrongly. But same goes for Oblivion. The man was a fresh introduction to the roster and has been able to show us some great performance, I gotta say.
Yeah, so it is a strong lineup, even if it's not sitting at very full power, 100% full power without Jordy tonight. It's still going to be a strong lineup. However, Cthulhu, they're certainly going to need it because their opponents, Rufflecopter, sitting at the top of the leaderboard right now. In fact, they've been doing it since just about day 1. These guys have made an entrance to the scene, no doubt for sure. I mean, Campo is so good. He shows up on the Esports Assessment Lab page as well. I mean, the man got on there, jumped on, did a pretty sick score, so you can go in and try and beat him. But why are these guys at the top, Cthulhu?
These are the guys that well, when they were first introduced to LPL Pro, they were more so looked at as the kind of ragtag team of just Pro League veterans. Warmoj, Deptra, and Campo are kind of the core 3 players that were fairly well known within the competitive community and we're a part of a fair few teams. Rigba and Boydie, not as previously well known, but already managed to prove that they do very much deserve their spot on this lineup. So overall, a very strong, very powerful lineup that are very much keen and ready to pursue all of their dreams from here on out.
Well, the dreams of staying in the playoffs are looking pretty good so far. They'll want to continue that one up a little bit, but let's take a look at some of these superstars and line them up one-on-one right now, because Dark, we've hyped this guy up, Campo, the Esports Assessment Lab master, but these guys, I mean, constantly showing up for their teams. How does it go down, though, when they actually meet in the field?
Look, in a 1v1 situation, I definitely reckon both of these players could really show up and almost make it end in a draw, because both of them would be able to just flick to each one another's heads really quickly. So look, honestly, I'm keen just to see that kind of rivalry build up between these two players. Campo already proven himself, same goes for Dark. It's more so just how will the rest of the roster also will kind of chug along with them.
Yeah, and then one last thing we got to check out before we actually hit the game itself, Cthulhu, is what maps we're going to be going to. So first up, we've got Coastline, and then of course, it's our favorite map, so we're going to be going back to Clubhouse as well, but let's talk Coastline first.
Yeah, Coastline is a very interesting map just for the sheer fact that this is one of the Exto's somewhat of a frequent picks, although it's one of those maps that I don't think they have been particularly too good, or rather stably winning on it, which does put it at a bit of a question mark here for me personally. The Clubhouse though pick is one of those kind of secondary picks from Rufflecopter, so a few question marks definitely have been raised, but we're already rolling and ready to go straight into the game. It's ban phase for Coastline with Rufflecopter now to kick things off on the defense. So certainly quite keen to see what would really happen here between these two teams, how that kind of tussle will unravel. First ban in favor of Rufflecopter, and that is going to be Capitao, who usually just gets to avoid all of the the ADSs, and he's got a pretty neato buff of the secondary hard breach charge.
Yeah, the poor man's been banned out pretty much all maps tonight, I believe, and is quite a popular ban too. He's almost reaching Thatcher levels at this point, Cthulhu. I mean, I wonder what's going to happen. It's poor Capitao, he's always a fun operator to have, but he won't be joining us, and neither will Ace, which is surprising to see. It's the first time banned tonight, but here he is, back, getting banned away like usual.
And there we go. Ace being outed. Certainly he has seen quite an explosive entry into the competitive meta, seeing as he almost replaced the Thatcher, the OG combo, the Thermite Thatcher duo, and well, definitely has been making quite a few heads turn. But with Smoke out of the equation, now that is a very interesting one, just for the sheer fact that usually so many comps and so many teams are heavily relying on the SAS operator, and to top it all off with Maestro being out of the equation certainly makes it so that, well, no bulletproof cameras, or rather majority of the bulletproof cameras will not be present on this map. So the main question here is going to be, how will that Smoke pick, or rather Smoke ban, affect the playfield? Because usually Smoke can really affect the end of the round kind of scenarios, for which nowadays I would assume could be the Melusi pick that could be really making a change, maybe some of the C4s from below, and it seems that really, well, instead of all of it, Boydie is actually bringing in an Oryx for kitchen service and entrance. Okay.
Yeah, rather than the Wamai is what gets me, because the Wamai is just such a useful operator, of course. At least you still have Jaeger, so it's not like you're going to be without the ADS, but Wamai is unique in that he can just kind of go off on his own and sort of just leave one area just completely packed with magnets, and it gets worse and worse and worse the longer you can't deal with his roam. And so the fact that they're popping it out onto the Oryx means that they've got to have something up their sleeves. You know, it's not like Cafe where it's very vertical and Oryx is played like there quite often. So I wonder what Boydie's got coming out for us here today. I reckon it's something special.
I'm somewhat tempted to actually say that maybe Boydie's idea here is just quite literally just be as mobile as possibly can, because you can use the Remadash as just means of very quickly bolting from one place to another and just trying to avoid as many shots as possible. Partially that, plus the fact that he can, well, obviously jump upwards through some of the hatches does allow some certain flank routes to be opened up. So maybe it's just Boydie's elaborate way of just going in for the flank or spoon peeking, because the T5 SMG does also have the 1.5 times scope, or the budget A column. So certainly a few things can be done here.
Campo, OJ, all playing with fire by the windows, but Lion might be able to shut some of that down as Mitchie pops out the EE1D to see if any of these roamers are going to be caught moving, but they stay around for now. Campo as well, still trying to just draw attention to himself almost at this point. NXTO do have to go and deal with it. You cannot leave this many roamers, for one thing, because not even sure where Boydie is, or if OJ's managed to make his way back to the point, but the next E1D pops out. Nothing found. No kills either. So, there's only one left for NXTO to play with, and we've only just hit 2 minutes left.
Yeah, only 2 minutes left, and already we're seeing quite some action happening. Campo onto Dark, the main rivalry that we did just point out as well, does manage to come out, and Campo only loses just a slight bit of damage to Dark's Ash. So that said, another line charge does go off, and Campo does find a double kill for himself and being able to run away pretty quickly. But Oblivion, oh no, just misses the shot onto the Jaeger and misses out completely on that frag, which is certainly quite an issue for the Sledge player.
Yeah, that would have been the kill that could have maybe brought this round back for NXTO Gaming, but they're down Mitchie, they're down Dark, and now there's only getting towards 1 minute left, and what have they got? They don't have Alpha, who I assume must be Mudpack, by the way, jumping onto NXTO Gaming, subbing in for Geordie, but Oblivion and Sawyer are all that remains, and well, there might be some low health bars, and Boydie's low, Depth is low, but I mean, you're really hoping for quite a lot there. As a
Vile. Just 3-tap. Oblivion also getting lost amongst all of that chaos, just now being pinched there. Another swing, Boydie's just getting extra aggressive about it all, and maybe wants to go in for a meme swing to just shoulder dash, but no, instead just uses the Bailiff, and well, that's one way to close the first round, but that's well done by Rufflecopter, as it didn't look like they really broke a sweat, really.
Yeah, I mean, look, that one looked pretty easy for them for sure. I mean, the first little battle we got was Dark falling down to Campo. That was definitely the beginning of the end there when you're looking at NXTO, but that's one round. It might not happen all the time, and maybe it gets a little bit different, but you got to shout out to, I think it was Rigber, I think it was roaming around a little bit later on, caught in the middle of an E1D and still managed to pick up the kills. So, look, everything went right for Rufflecopter, and look, they're just looking to do it again, repeat the success. The operators looking to be exactly the same.
I'm curious about that decision by OJ about the mute to Valkyrie, given that two of the operators have somewhat of a differing roles in the play. One denies the information, one gathers. So it seems that more so is just Rufflecopter's idea of defense is just a good offense, I suppose, during the rounds. And certainly, well, Campo did prove us that very thing, it seems.
Yeah, it's incredibly offensive, right? I mean, OJ was out there peeking, so was Boydie at one point, so was Campo, and oh no.
We saw that.
Yeah, we all saw it, the whole stream saw it. OJ unfortunately couldn't dunk that drone, and he'll live for a little bit longer. You definitely don't want to leave the Valk cam on that door. At least break it out first.
Attackers are
There's
moving
a
to defuse the bomb.
Valkyrie
Defenders
throw. Won't
approaching
get spotted as well, but the
bomb
sound cue
diffuser
was
has
certainly
been dropped.
there.
Attackers will cover the diffuser.
Alert of any of the attackers that there was potentially a run out, or rather an attempt maybe at a peak, but alas, nothing did really happen. And instead we're seeing just a whole lot of players of NXTO just, or rather not NXTO, Rufflecopter just running around as if it's Call of Duty on shipment.
Is anyone on site? Are we playing Sugar Fright right now? Because Rufflecopter are playing this incredibly aggressively, and NXTO might not be ready for this, but they do have the EE1D, the godliest of all tools for a team playing like this. And so Rufflecopter, only one of them pinged out for it for sure, but NXTO haven't been good. Oh. You won't even let me finish the sentence. Rigber finds Mitchie, and well, that's the Lion gone. He had 2 more E1Ds left, and they're gone too. Another attacker falls, but that's just a trade as Rigba's involved in all of that too. And well, what are we left with? A 3v3.
After a flurry of kills, Exto did manage to draw it out, but after losing out, well, one of the info gatherers, actually 2 of the info gatherers and one of the, I suppose, roam clearers in Face of Oblivion. So now they've just been stripped down to just very basic utility, that is just the breaching and flank watch. Whereas for Rufflecopter, they have the info gathering, they have all the well, holograms, they have Boydie to just full on just rugby charge at somebody, and Dark won't be having any of that. Another pre-fire as well from Alpha Male will be attempting to claim the kill onto OJ, but the man is behind the reinforced wall, so I think at this point it's OJ that is the Alpha Male.
Oh well, we've still got 1 minute of the round left to see if that's going to be true for sure, but Exto Gaming, they've got the diffuser back in hand, and that is a good start for sure, but Dark might have to do a lot of heavy lifting here, because he's not got a lot of health, and he's got even less now as OJ just easily goes in and executes him, but they find him back too, and now the last 1v1, and they actually kill each other there at the end. This is actually how that worked out, but we did at least have Campo left around there too.
Yeah, at least Campo was still there, so we're good. We good on that. Blue Bar and Sunrise.
I think we have a good idea of how Rufflecopter are playing here, Cthulhu.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a very kind of almost pug kind of heavy games with like minimal strats, few kind of very standardized setups, and just from there on just kind of send it.
They got to be careful. I mean, they've won the first 2 rounds, which is great, but this sort of strategy can absolutely backfire, and they might be very secure in their playoff spot, but the seeds might change. Who knows what's going to happen? Maybe they even do lose their top 4 spot, which is unlikely for sure, but you know, you never know what's going to happen. You want to keep it in your hands. So while they are winning for now, you can't really down pat them on that. They do want to be careful maybe as the rounds go on. But Exto, I wonder if they're going to learn here, because it's now twice, and Rufflecopter have been more aggressive as the rounds have gone on. And I can only imagine what round 3 is going.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see right now, because it's been definitely quite a wild ride, especially in the Rufflecopter camp. For Exto, it's just them kind of trying to deal with all of it and trying to kind of understand any kind of patterns behind it all. So, look, it's definitely, it almost feels like there's kind of minimal brain activity behind some of these setups, but in reality, they so kind of smooth brain, they actually form a rough brain. Sorry, a wrinkly brain ideas.
Not sure it works like that. I don't think you
it's
can go
so bad. It's so good. It's like, that's what I've been attempting to say, but I failed miserably.
All I heard is it's so smooth, it's wrinkled, and well,
yeah.
it works out for me.
It seems that the clean feed though didn't like my joke, because it just completely, well, decided to freeze up on us. That's a little bit unfortunate. Streaming software though is back up and running, so we're fine in that department. So, well, we might just.
We're gonna chill out on this frozen screen for a little bit to see if it does relax itself for now. But I mean, it does give us a little nice look at what's going on here with old mate Sawyer. He's been currently spotted out by OJ. I imagine he's not actually very much alive for now, or at least one of them. Although, looks like we're back in action, Cthulhu. And, well, I wasn't right. Sawyer managed to survive, but OJ did not go down. However, the rest of Exto's team, look at it. It's in shambles.
Yeah, it's all just falling apart. Dark, though, is still alive. Sawyer is still there, so we just might be able to see a few wins out, but just the moment I say that, OJ claims his 3rd kill. So yeah, last man standing, in hopes of maybe trying to find a few more exit frags before going down, because things are certainly looking all against him.
You need anything you can to feel good at this point as well. I mean, you look at the round points, and this is perhaps one of the hardest rounds that Rufflecopter are winning, so you drop down here. Sawyer picks up 1 kill. He would love to score another 3 for sure, but I mean, look at all the stuff around him. He has to sit there and just throw point-blank flashbangs to try and get rid of it all, and he still can't do it because he's on lockdown by a Rafflecopter. So, another one. 3 rounds now in a row. This could be a very quick coastline, Cthulhu.
Yeah, this is looking very quick because look, yeah, Rafflecopter certainly ramping up with each and every round the aggression, and doesn't look like they're planning to stop anytime soon, really. So, yeah, look, 3-0. Exto are still yet to acquire themselves a dub here in either of the rounds, and maybe kitchen setup will be the way for them to go, as they now surely they would know the patterns and all this insanity. Or maybe it's just, well, Rafflecopter will just continue running away with some of the frags.
Yeah, now, the thing is, we didn't get to see too much of that around, particularly the start of it, right, and why so many people on Exto died, so there could have been a very big problem for sure, but it did look like Rafflecopter were playing very similar to the previous rounds, where they're pushed up quite far. They're looking at immediate entry points where they eliminate people before they even get inside, so I wonder if they'll be looking to do it again. Remember, you can't keep doing that sort of thing without eventually Exto catching on, so perhaps they'll be looking to be a bit more anchor heavy here. I imagine OJ, though, will continue to drop those Valk cams outside, drop them in the most amazing C4 spots, which, remember, when you bring a mirror, you bring an extra C4 every single round too, and Rafflecopter are happy to do that here on Coastline.
Attacker's objective is to defuse the bomb.
Cam in position.
Defender has left the designated staging area. Defender exposed.
Waiting for just the moment the entry happens, they just home in right onto the attackers and just jump them up. It seems like the moment Exto just walk into the building, it's almost as if they just dive into the deep waters where the sharks that are Rafflecopter just ready to munch them all up.
It's like stepping into the shallows and having a great white bite your ankle. Like, that's not meant to happen yet. It's just meant to swim out a little bit and then get eaten. You're not meant to die there. You're not meant to die 20 million miles outside of the building.
Yeah, just 20 minutes or 20 seconds in and just complete RIP on Sawyer, and Deptra is looking like Deptra is just gonna go for another peek out. So look, all the tools in his hands is just it's down to his aim, and it seems that Boydie at the very least will be shut down. Dark is ready for another frag. Campo is waiting for the drop down, but none will happen. And it seems that Dark might actually be very ready. OJ took quite some damage as well from Alpha Male, so it seems that right now it's just maybe this is going to be the round to be taken.
Remember, Dark has his IQ scanner. OJ drops down too, and I think the Vigil's out of there anyway, so maybe he's actually not going to be a problem at all, as Campo may have left that hatch, and yeah, there he is as well. So I was going to say Dark could have scanned for the Vigil in case he was trying to hide from the drones, but that said, that opportunity is now certainly gone. Here we go though, Campo going invisible once more. No drone's going to be spotting this man out. Oblivion trying to save it for the rest of his team back home. And now Exto might be looking to be in control of a round for the first time, but that's the diffuser. Now dropped outside, but Oblivion is not going to let this one go up so easily. Deptra will be his final victim. Actually, Dark claims that one, but Oblivion certainly claimed the round there for Exto Gaming. First one on the board.
There we go. Finally, Exto do able to break the pace of Rafflecopter and able to claim themselves the dub on this round. So there we go, a good beginning, but already the damage has been done. So the best thing that they are looking at now is a 3-3 scoreline, which can be achieved, but they cannot afford to really miss out on any of the rounds in this half. Otherwise, that's, well, a very unfavorable lineup and setup. Looking at the picks though, Boydie, I know that, like, we are seeing a very kind of semi-meme comp from Raffle, but that is, at this point, I feel borderline just them BMing.
Well, here's why it's actually going to be maybe not that effective, is because when you're playing against Frost, The one thing you have to do is pay attention. You just have to pay attention when you go through windows. You have to pay attention when you vault over anything. And if anything Exto Gaming are doing right now, it is paying attention. After the way Rockcopter have been playing, they have to drone their spawn points at this point, right? So Exto Gaming are looking at everything, but that is certainly a spot for a welcome mat that I've seen one. I wonder if anyone's going to be going onto that one. But my point is
10 seconds left
that
before insertion.
frost mats catch people by surprise when they're not ready.
5 seconds remaining.
Well, Exto Gaming are very ready. Get home. They've got to be at this point. 4 rounds.
Surely.
Locate a bomb and defuse it.
Surely they will be
Defender is
prepared, or rather, maybe they are actually thinking that this is a very big bait.
The attacker's
They'll just
bomb
roll it.
diffuser
So
has been
we'll have
found.
to see how will it really turn out, because diffuser has been already dropped before, just for a chance at a run out. Oblivion's position has been well and truly showcased, but oh,
Good thing you dropped the bomb.
good night. Deptra just a better gamer at that point. Gets a pixel peek and well, gets that win. So already an early win and an early advantage, especially over the Jackal. That is a huge thing here for Rufflecopter to take control of.
Yeah, and there it goes
Attackers have
again.
recovered
It's
their
evened
defuser.
up, and that's Campo actually being taken out on the Legion. So
Defender has left
perhaps
the
the way
area.
back in. But Voidy, with
Defender
the
is
Frost
exposed.
run out, doesn't find his kill, but hey, doesn't die either. So look, he'll take that one for sure. But they've seen someone sprinting on up the stairs. They're getting ready to hit them as they come inside. And actually, Voidy, right in the right spot at the right time, gets rid of Mitchie. This Exto Gaming attack slowing down. Alpha also under fire too. He is trapped and well pinned down. He's going to need the help of Dark to get him out of this one. In fact, the whole squad maybe may have to help him get out of there, because it is constantly under fire by Deptra, of course. Seeing if he can pre-fire anyone through the wall. Maybe he'll find something. He's getting dangerously close to some of these shots, for sure. But again, this is the whole building under control of Rufflecopter. Deptra claims another one. Finally, Alpha Male goes down.
Yeah, Mudpack is certainly not having a fun time here. For those who don't know, Alpha Male is also known as, apparently, Mudpack, at least as I was told by the players, but
Yep, last minute sub though. So
yeah, last minute sub.
He's allowed one time where he's got the wrong name.
Yeah. Either way, Dark and Sawyer, once again, the last two remaining players, once again, it's IQ and the Ash. With a minute remaining still, they need to go through quite a fair few frags, and it seems like, look at how scared they are to take some of those gunfights. And just, they are seeming to be on such a passive play that it almost feels like it's Rufflecopter who are playing the attack, and it's Exto on the defense, because right now Rigba just goes in for that swing and just gets it.
40
He just doesn't care.
40 seconds to make 4 frags happen. If your name's not Refix, I don't think it's really all that likely, particularly when you're the ones on attack as well, having to walk into people like Voidy. Who needs a welcome mat to get a kill when you can just apparently drop down to pick up the kill nice and easily?
Yeah, there we go. Well. Even Dark at this point is just roasting Sawyer.
Sawyer's team roasted him last week as well. I feel like they're a
Yeah.
bit mean to the boy.
Look, I mean, he gets to flex the fresh tags that he has. So I mean, gotta walk the walk and talk the talk, I guess. Well, that's the only explanation that I can come up with here, really. So
It's got to be it. It's
Yeah.
got to be it. At least they're recognizing it though. Sawyer calling it out as a close game for sure. 4-1 currently, and looking to make it a 5-1/2 for Rufflecopter.
if only
Oh,
we'd be
man.
5 more.
I feel like there's a little bit of
Defenders,
hate,
protect your
maybe a
bombs
bit of
from being
friction
defused
coming
by
out here.
attackers.
Cthulhu.
Oh, there's definitely friction. I mean, the mental warfare is another thing that quite a whole lot of things do talk about. Even say there might be friends outside of those comp games. The moment it gets to it, just pull out all your, well, I want to say toxic approaches, but it's not really toxic unless it's just like to a certain point trash talk.
Yeah, pull out the tasteful banter, right?
Yeah, the
Like,
tasteful banter, yeah. And that could potentially tilt your opponents, which is, well, there you go. That's another way of just forcing them to be even more reckless about certain things. So,
And if you're Rufflecopter, you want your opponents to be reckless.
Oh, yes.
For sure. I mean, the way they've been playing this out so far, they might be playing a bit more anchor heavy this time because they've got the mirror. But look at the rest of the team, right? Every everyone else, every other operator. Campo is already looking out the door. You've probably got OJ looking out the door. Deptra, he's waiting to look out the door for sure, but at least he's on the site and gets one. He was ready for this one.
Gets the first kill from the very same position. It's just a complete wipe here. Campo pitches in on the whole dilemma. Swears up. Woody finally gets written off by Oblivion, and Darker just goes in for the full send mode. Gets tagged up on the gunfight against Rig, but just has a little bit more ammunition there in the magazine. And well, it's a 2v3, but so much damage already been dealt again, and it's just Dark just kind of enjoying, I suppose, the time at just teabagging one of the players.
Yeah, big problem. Oblivion pretty far from the site too. Caught up on the stairs. OJ will drink that one down, and now we're back to a 3v1. All the way back to Dark, and yeah, he is not happy about that one. We'll run into some fire. Barely a health point to speak of here. He's going to leave that one in his will to his great-grandchildren. And another one for Rufflecopter, 5 1/2. Anything but a close game.
Yeah, look, a 5-1 scoreline is just, yeah, at this point it almost feels like Exto may have at least partially given up on maybe this map, which is a sad thing to really talk about, but you look at some of the performances, unfortunately, it's just not looking too pretty. Already a chunk of pick is coming up from Exto, but yeah, thankfully, okay.
You never say it until that tick gets locked in. Otherwise, they do this to you, they troll you, they debate you, but you still don't say anything because this could be a debate. This could be a debate itself. They could leave this up right until the last second and then do something, but nope. Finally, the tick comes in. The Tachanka is here.
All right, Exto. You know what? That's fine.
You say they're giving up. I say they're just beginning. Now that they've got Lord Tachanka out here.
Oh, no. They bring it in. Not only is just Tachanka, it's Tachanka with the SASG as well. Not only the man will be able to dominate the mid-range with the LMG, it's also the close range. That is where the shotgun is just going to be coming out. And I'm liking, though, the pick on Dark for the Capcan, where Capcan is kind of against... he's amazing against these kind of comps, where Rufflecopter is just absolutely aggressive through the roof, and they won't be really droning it out. They won't be really, well, setting up, or rather droning, keeping it out for those Capcan traps. I'm sorry, that positioning of the Frost Trap by Mitchie just broke my brain.
Yeah, there's been a few of those, and we've only seen 2 rounds of Frost, but look, I mean, hey, maybe it'll pop up. We didn't see any of the welcome mats last time, but here we go. The first E1D now popped out pretty early,
Straight
actually.
off the bat.
So early. Deptra's already looking to fire on down. There's one welcome mat ready to welcome him in. That ping from the E1D, it gives him all the information he's going to need. Deptra to grab that first kill. Rigba's hunting for another one, but he's got his drones here for now, but here we go.
Here we go. OJ with the early scan, a true Lion main, did pop out just to get some early information, maybe on some of the rotations, or rather where maybe some of the positions could be. But a jump in already does solidify that there will be just full-blown just shift W straight onto the front desk, where there's currently 2 pings currently reside and about to maybe move over to the office. But ooh, Mudpack. Nice shot as well onto Campo. Does shut him down pretty swiftly, but there's still some more frags to be done. Rigba nearly loses his health to Dark, but it goes in for another quick jiggle peek. Tries to maybe find a shot onto the Capcan, but swings with his back to him, and just like that, it's a 3v1 with Boydie now rolling around with suppressed weaponry, which is one way to really go in. Gets another one. Yeah, Soyo. Yep, Fisher's insane, 2v1, but minimal amount of health will certainly not be bringing any kind of success, surely, at this point. But Boydie could potentially maybe pull out a clutch, who knows?
Let's go, Boydie. He got 1 sledge kill with the hammer, so he's already got my Red Bull fan vote, but this cooked nade might be the one that secures the next kill, but no. Nothing secured. In fact, the barrier's still up too, but bonk! We can get rid of that, no problem. But where is his next victim? This boy has basically no health. He's going to be telegraphing where he's coming from with the drones as well, so he's going to have to get maybe a bit creative instead of going in head first like this. And that is thinking with your head, Sledge. That is being creative, making up new angles. Now he's just looking for his next opponent, sees the head, It's just gonna go peeking from each and every angle, but eventually he's gonna get caught out on that one and can't pull off the clutch.
And there we go. That's EXG's second round for the taking, as they do able to find some good peaks initially. But yeah, look, right now, at the very least, Exto will be keeping it somewhat competitive for themselves, at least in the future few rounds. Another set of picks coming out where it seems like Exto are just random picking almost on the operators. Alibi Melusi pick is not a bad idea, although Alibi is certainly a little bit questionable, at least given the certain circumstances here. Maybe even at this point, something like a Castle and an Ella pick would work a little bit better, or maybe better yet, Melusi and Ella to make it just even more painful for the eyes, the ears, maybe the joints of the operators. I don't know how that actually device works. Actually,
I imagine the vibration like really shakes you down to your bones. Like
that sounds painful.
Yeah, maybe it's not that bad. That would probably do hit points.
That sounds like it would break all the Geneva Conventions in one go.
I think a lot about this game would probably break that. I mean, I don't think smoke is very.
Yeah, that is also true. Now that you mention it.
That one's definitely not allowed internationally. But yeah.
Look, Team Rainbow. Maybe carte blanche there. Well, few decisions.
I mean, Caviar literally tortures her opponents.
10 seconds remaining.
That's pretty bad, I gotta say.
Yeah, that's
a very
thank you guys.
open
Yeah,
wall. Hang on.
That is a very open floor plan here by Sawyer, utilizing the ACS and yeah, look.
Just listen to the harmonious song.
Yeah, that is a symphony of destruction there by the ACS, which will be soon enough actually followed up by Chunka as well whenever he comes around. But Mitchie, he's been position spotted. Nitro to fly out, won't be claiming the life of Deptra, but alas, will be forcing the player of the defense to fall back.
Deptra's just climbing up the building, listening to what's going on, and it's like, what the hell
What
am
is
I
happening?
walking into? What kind of sight am I going to be looking at when I drop down? I mean, for all he knows, no walls could have been underneath that hatch there. They're going to take these ones carefully. There's going to be a lot of really weird new open lines of sight that no one's going to be thinking of, so Exto are playing with some added...
Attackers have dropped the bomb diffuser. Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay, surprise is up. But yeah, so you could just stand in the middle of that.
I mean, Noble, as they previously known as Sinister, are very well known to debate a few players and a few teams, namely Knights in the previous, I believe that was actually back when Pro League was a thing. Michi goes in for the swing, actually gets rid of Deptra as well, and that is another GM for the man, as he's just unrelenting at this point. No hostages being taken here.
The question is, can anyone work out Sawyer's trick? He's been hanging out with his prisoners for quite some time, but the runouts and...
Oh no, Dark.
I guess that's a
That's a good
success on the runout. Sort of. Not really worth it, I suppose, but hey, look, Rafflecopter are being stopped in their tracks, and well, there should be another round picked up for Exto, but it's been such a quick round that there's still a little bit of time left, and everyone's camping back pretty far. Sorry guys, this round is so hard to follow. For sure, but Rigma's at least going to be pretty hard to flank for sure. But now he sees the Hall of Doom, the Hall of Confusion. The Riddler asks him, which one is the real one?
OJ is just so frantically just spamming through all of these holograms at this point.
He's going to headshot Sawyer at one point.
Yeah, gotta dome the man, but at some point. But well, look, at least they managed to shut down the toxicity from Michi. But Sawyer wants it. Sawyer wants to live, actually, as a matter of fact, as he falls back. But nearly runs into, I believe that was actually Rigba's sight. So right now, 2v3, OJ has arguably the better gun, although all the East pre-fires could pretty much find his demise pretty quickly. Sawyer finally gets taken down by Rigba though, so that is a solid beginning, but 15 seconds remaining, the push needs to happen, the plant needs to happen as a matter of fact as well, and the Wob Wob's already notifying of the position. Alpha Male tries to go in for the swing, but it's a trade, and Rafflecopter do win out, round number 8, pushing themselves into match point.
That was the stupidest round of Siege I've ever seen. When when we swapped to the drone, that was looking at the hallway with the broken down wall and all 3 Prismas sitting there. Oh man, I couldn't hold it in.
It's just like
my sides.
It's just like the meme that Guz always likes. Just, hello there. It's just
That Guz likes? You mean half the internet likes?
oh, he made it like as popular for himself as possible. Man's actually put that meme into his into his casting.
Well. That was certainly a. There's definitely a meme that works with that one for sure. That was a bit of nonsense, but the point is, it did actually get Rufflecopter to match point. They somehow managed to get through all of Exto's shenanigans.
Attackers need to locate and
And you know
defuse
what,
as many bombs as they
Cthulhu?
can.
I think I'm starting to believe Blue Panda on Twitter when he says that this is going to be the most exciting match of the whole season. I just didn't think it was going to be for this reason.
Yeah, look, this is certainly quite a interesting thing to really just witness. The whole match as it is, it's a wild derby out there. It's a wild west. Dark finally has decided to return back to the land of the living, but this could potentially be the final round. I'm sorry.
Left before insertion.
Okay.
Well, look, see, here's the meta.
To locate
Is they've
bomb
brought
and
Doc
defuse
to
it.
heal Dark. He did it. He actually did it. He heals Dark up after he's run through all the walls. And so they can have pretty much anything open that they want. They've got Oblivion and Capcans kind of like randomly spread out around the place, vaguely near the site. So
My brain just hurts.
I mean, yeah, it's flipping it over, right? Exo had to concentrate before, now Rufflecopter has to pay attention. No running into frost mats, no running into Capcan traps. But in this round, of course, all those open walls again are going to be a big problem and create a whole new environment that pro players may have never played in before.
Boydie got a no grip suppressed R4C just to add to the meme value.
They'll never see him coming.
They'll never see him coming at all. Campo also to kind of reinforce the position finds actually the position of Dark, but instead just grabs a mouthful of damage and just kind of backs out of it and saying, you know what, I don't like that taste.
Man, everyone hates walls here, and Boydie hates Dark, and Oblivion, well, OJ hates him as well. This could be looking like the winning round for Rufflecopter, as they've already got 2 down.
And don't call it just yet. Alpha Male might be able to pop up. Michi has still full health on a dog, so certainly could really throw in a spanner in the works on a few occasions. Although I'm not very too hopeful about Sawyer's position there with such a far-fetched angle with the ACS-12. It's probably just about as far-fetched as my attempt at becoming a ballerina.
Hey, one day, mate. One day. You know, it takes practice. These guys here, Rufflecopter, are practice at shenanigans and games like this.
Professional shenanigan makers.
Exactly. Look, I mean, Mudpack's left Mitchie all the way on his lonesome Sawyer as well, who's just been dropped down. Well, Mudpack better get... Oh, see you later, mate.
Good night.
Mudpack better get in here pretty quickly. I mean, if they want to have a hope of clutching this one out, Mitchie can't do it on his own. He can maybe take a few of these swings. They're still there.
Jesus. Yeah, Mudpack has managed to kind of sort of rotate back over to just outside the entrances to the side, but instead it's just Mitchie who's just playing around the office area, gets himself spotted by the drone who's just staring at him like, yo, hello, how's it going? And right now Mudpack is just waiting for the call, I suppose, for the push, or rather, well, when he hears the sound cue for the plant to go down. OJ just gets a free plant. Already there's a crossfire to be held. A swing by... Oh, hello, Deptra. Questionable decisions has been done, and, well, it's a 1v3 situation with quite a few questionable decisions have been made, and there we go. Round 9 to be taken by Rufflecopter. GG, well played. It was that wild to the point that you just nearly died there, Smite.
Oh, yeah, look, I'm infected with how good this game has been. But Rufflecopter... I mean, look, maybe it wasn't the exact way we thought it would happen, but it was game 1 that they took. A very important one. This now officially keeps them out of reach of officially being kicked out of the top 4. I think the only way they could be is if 4th place gets a 2-0 and then tie breaks them at the end of this week. So all things considered, this is so far a success for Rafflecopter. They just want to close it out, put themselves, once again, kind of out of reach for the final week of the round robin. But, I mean, Cthulhu, unless Exto try to change something up a little bit here, I'm feeling like this will just be the 2-0.
Yeah, this looking like it, and it's just kind of both teams trying to enjoy some memes, some games here, and certainly looking like maybe Clubhouse will be just about a similar situation here.
Oh my god, now you're making me think of how much they're going to meme up Clubhouse. I mean, they're probably just going to leave the CCTV door open. Who knows what's going to happen? We certainly don't. But after the break, we're going to find out when we conclude this epic series. Go grab a Red Bull, because we'll be back in a few minutes. Get back in here, everyone. One more game to go. And we are just about there. We're going back to the club to see if Rafflecopter can close this one out 2-0 against Exto after a pretty, well...
It was an interesting match.
Yeah, how do you want to describe that one?
Probably calling it an interesting match was quite a one way to really call it, but well, from one interesting map to another, maybe a bit of another meme fest, it is going to be Clubhouse, the second map pick that is Rafflecopters that will be brought out, and good luck and funds being thrown out. It's just more so of just a game of a friendly banter more so.
It's weird to see that this is a friendly game, right? Because for Rafflecopter, sure, they're pretty safe, but for Exto, a few wins here and there could secure their own spot in the top 4. It could keep them from dropping out.
Yeah, look, at the moment it looks like they can't seem to be able to really get to it, rather, and well, map 4 out of the whole Playtech Clubhouses there. Bands-wise, I mean, those already looking pretty bizarre to me. A Thermite, a Maverick, no Heart Breaching, it seems. Well, not all the Heart Breaching will be banned out. It's definitely going to be a little bit limited. Mirror to be banned out just to kind of, I suppose, a quality of life. Oh no, okay, we're not going about that. And well, final ban by Exto. I'm assuming going to be another meme ban, maybe a Jaeger, maybe a Bandit. Who knows? Maybe a Mute even. Oh, going to be a Castle. Okay. Out of all of them, it's a Castle. So.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
Castle's always picked up on gym and bedroom, so that is something that is gonna, you know, if a team's reliant on that, it's gonna throw them into a bit of flux when they choose that site. So it's not like banning Bandit and Kaid, because, like, you know, if you ban one or the other, you've always got the other one as an option, right? Castle, it's hard to find a replacement for that guy.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of operators that could really kind of replace his utility.
Just stack 3 Goyo shields in a door. Oh,
I mean, you can't even do that anymore since Goyo has been nerfed like a while ago as well with his utility. So
no.
Oh, okay, we're already busting out the Chunker in the first round. Okay, I see how it is. I see how it is.
Yeah.
And it's a clash pick as well for Oblivion. We completely forgot to mention that as well. So
we got a bit to break down here.
yeah.
A bit. This is obviously incredibly different to what we normally see.
It's also a bar and supply as well.
Yeah, I was trying to work out the site, and then yeah, I saw this. So a site we never see, with operators we never see. Obviously being the Junker, but the Clash too. I mean, yeah, even the Oryx is like, why? I've never seen this guy here. But then you look over what Rafflecopter are doing, and it's all pretty normal. But for Exto, well, they are renovating.
10 seconds to insertion.
That's all I can say about that.
The only message that I just received from our observer is just, bruh.
Attackers are moving.
That is it. And there's a soil on the run out as well with a clash. What is happening? Exto. The power of memes compels you.
I don't even know how to approach this site. This is, it's been a while since I've seen pros attack the site, and you know, I have a feeling it's not going to look like they usually do anyway, so...
Poor man Rigby is just scared to even take that position. He's just like, I am going to just wait for some dumb stuff to happen and maybe speak there, but even then, kind of no.
It's like, you don't know what's around every corner. It could be a Tachankatar, could be a Clash, it could be an Oryx charging you through the wall. You never know against Exto. But it looks like Rafflecopter at least have some idea. They found the Kaid first. Sawyer's going to be gone, but Dark's been pushed all the way off of his turret and all the way to the Shadow Realm as well. Deptra to claim that one too. This one's looking like it's going to be quickly over if it continues like this. As the Oryx will fall. Oblivion, well, look, Clash is usually someone that can survive for quite a while, but in a situation like this, good luck.
Yeah, it's a good luck, have fun indeed. Rigbo already finding the final kill into Oblivion. It's all down to Mitchie to try to do something here. He does have full health, so might just be able to maybe find a few frags here. But that is the one way to open up a hole from up above. And look, right now, Mitchie is in a peculiar moment because, well, Deptra just swings him and that's about all that she wrote there, really. Because as absurdly as the round began, just as absurdly the round ended, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, the C4 being used to create some sightlines, desperation a little bit for sure. I mean, you always want to use that for a kill, but yeah, that round went basically as you kind of expected it. It's a bit of a weird sight, hard one to hold for sure. That's a pretty good example of why. The Tachanka as well immediately forced off his turret. I don't think we even saw it shoot a single bullet once it became relevant. Of course, used to rip up the wall is always quite nice, but yeah, I wonder if we're going to see Exto do the same thing here in round number 2, because over on Rafflecopter, everything looks like it's all pretty normal. They're getting around the Thermite and the Maverick bands, but apart from that, nothing looks too crazy about that attacking composition here. But Exto Gaming, you've got the Cav, you've got the Pulse. I mean, everything else you can maybe make an argument for on Clubhouse, but we're still back on the same site. We are still here with weird operators. But hey, look, there's a reason that these operators can do pretty well in ranked mode when you're not in a professional match. Sawyer, maybe he'll pop off.
Yeah, I'm curious about Sawyer's pick just because it has a chance to pretty much turn around the whole round in favor of Exto. Or we'll just see a complete roll by Rafflecopter once again. And only see them just lose a single person there during the whole push. So questions, but no answers whatsoever.
See, it's the same thing, though, is that they're, oh god, right around the corner. Boydie may have to be careful around here. He's got some walls around him, but Sawyer, oh no, he's been droned down. That is why Cav can be a bit of a rough one here, but for now, he only cops a little bit of damage, and it's going to be okay for now. It's Oblivion we're going to have to worry about next. He's around the corner right now from a few entry points. He's even managed to snag himself a drone, but the run out there is from OJ. Well, OJ will shut it down, in fact. But, hey, Oblivion scores himself his own kill, but is traded in the end, so not really the biggest of deals here. They've lost Boydie, but Rafflecopter's still looking strong.
I mean, they lost Boydie in the previous round as well, and they still ended up pretty much rolling their opponent. So, not a whole lot of things has really changed. We still at the bar and stockroom, which still is very much amusing to me, and it seems that maybe we're just going to be seeing just bar and stock the whole time.
Hope you like it. Hope you're thirsty.
Hope I'm thirsty, yeah. But look, right now Dark is the one trying to maybe find a few frags here. Maybe on Deptra he could find a very nice shot, but that does imply that Deptra is completely oblivious to not checking the main stairs.
I think he's been listening, and there it is, rewarded for listening. Gets himself a kill, and OJ also will score 1-2, so it's not unanswered. But Rigba has to turn the corner and deal with Dark, and does exactly that. And now, this is looking fine for Rafflecopter because, yeah, Mudpacker might be hanging around down here, but he's got no clue where anyone is to stick that C4.
Yeah, now he has to actually go for a push onto the side, and, well, retaking supply room is pretty much borderline impossible. Rigba, well, semi-long angle does able to shut things down yet another round. Second round in a row for Rafflecopter to take, and that is on bar and billiards, or rather bar and supply. Will be done. Well, this time we are going to be going to CCTV, as it seems that Exto has done all the memeing that they wanted, and instead we'll be trying to, well, bring out the plays on CCTV. This is the side that is much more competitive rather than the bar and supply, so with this kind of lineup, I'm definitely assuming that we shall be seeing quite a heavy presence in the garage, maybe.
Ooh, okay, so let's look at what's going on here, because there's no Jaeger here for Exto Gaming. That's going to be a
There
bit
is a
interesting.
Wamai.
Yeah, the Wamai is going to be there. He's going to be hanging out in the rafters the whole time. What I'm interested in is
Attackers
it's
need
going
to
to be
locate
Ella
and defuse
hanging
bomb.
out downstairs. So Mudpacket's going to be hanging out where the Jaeger normally does, right at the bottom of Red Stairs. And so he's going to be the one looking for kind of any entries. Perhaps maybe Sawyer as well could be hanging out down there, but I imagine you want to make use of those Griswold mines, so we'll see how it does play out for sure, but this isn't entirely mean for Exto. It is still wildly, like, quite different to a comp we normally see. You're missing maybe not the crucial pieces, but some pieces that are very commonly brought to the side.
Yeah.
10 seconds.
Look, maybe we shall be seeing
5
some
seconds left.
more serious things here. But
Attackers
Never
need to
mind,
locate
oh
and
my
Never
defuse
mind.
the bomb.
I was literally about to say, at least they haven't shot up the entire wall inside, but there it is. The main door to CCTV now open, so for anyone who may not know, that is probably one of the most crucial walls in the whole game, but look where Cambo can fire down from. He can literally sit and spawn and fire down onto the site. This is why you don't just blow up in the whole wall, especially when you're defending.
yeah, look, but at the very least they can play a game of just peekaboo here with the attackers. So maybe they will just have some fun that way, really, because look, apart from that, Deptra is just already getting a breach open. Rigba is there to just
Bomb
going
located
for the
by
swing,
attackers.
and it's a very interesting setup. Already Deptra going in for the breach, and well, could have already made an entrance through that wall in construction. I'm slowly losing my mind here.
I've
Smite.
never seen a green door like that with just a top planks taken out. That is that caught me by surprise a little bit, but I guess a lot of this match has taken me by surprise. Here we go. CCTV is just a complete barren wasteland at this point. No one's going to be sitting in there, as pretty much the entire world can see and get sightlines inside. So everyone's going to be hanging out in cash, and well, Rigba, hang on.
I mean, that's a camera.
Yes.
That's a camera setup for Flank Watch. Thank you. I'll be using that for whenever I'll decide to actually play rank. And well, for Exla right now, they just there. They exist. They're not really returning fire, it seems, and just keep on chewing some more bullets. Dark just got taken down pretty quickly by Deptra. Mitchie is about to maybe taking down even quicker, as Mitchie is just trying to just tap away at maybe the depression of Zafia. Boydie gets a kill. That's another one for Deptra and Boydie as well. All down to Mudpack, and well, he manages to at least get a really nice peek. About to go in for a swing, but just gets swung upon by Deptra, and well, Rufflecopter, third round in a row. The moment I thought that we're going to be seeing maybe a semi-serious round here from Exo Gaming, it seems that is not going to happen anytime soon, really.
Yeah, big disadvantage right from the start, of course, with that CCTV wall being open. They're going to go for the retry, so they're going to have a chance to try and take this one a bit more seriously for sure. 3 rounds already up. I mean, it's a huge lead for Rufflecopter. Certainly not insurmountable, though. It's not like they've gotten 2-0 on every series they've played. They do bleed, for sure, but it looks like we're back to some old tricks here, Cthulhu, because the Cav is coming out for Dark. Or is it? Or is it actually going to swap back to the Pulse? We'll find out in just a few seconds. Nope, the Cav is going to be sticking around. So, again, it's
Attackers need to
CCTV.
locate and
We're not
defuse
missing
bomb.
all the crucial pieces, although actually, as I say that, I mean, there's no Wamai, there's no Jaeger. So truly, I mean, who's going to sit up on the rafters? Who is going to be hanging out downstairs? I mean...
I don't think they are intending to sit on rafters, though, Smite.
Yeah, but I mean, they're not opening the door this time, so maybe they are taking this one a whole lot more seriously, and it looks like it might actually be Mudpacket, who's at least going to be setting up the Vulcans here. There's some kind of makeshift way of holding it.
10 seconds remaining.
Oh, look, I'm still kind of at a large question mark here to just kind of understand the logic behind some of these
Attackers must be located and
peaks,
defuse the
some
bomb.
of these decisions. Maybe later on we shall be seeing what is happening, but look, right now it's just
Look at this weird, the weird line they've got into, like from cache, right? The walls you normally, you know, just leave the tops open. They've got a line right on the door, and it's all very soft. They've got the shield for it too. So in theory, they can hold it for a little bit, but it could be a bit rough for sure. But hey, look, here's all the electro claws. Here's my drone inside, by the way. Now, OJ is going to be able to see absolutely everything he wants to. Get around this prisoner. Man, that's annoying to see. Like, when you're trying to see around, for sure. But definitely a reason to pick it up. But they should be able to get rid of this electro claw, which will, in essence, just open up the main door like it did last round.
Yeah, maybe we just might be seeing a bit of a similar outcome here between these two teams. Sawyer just, instead of shooting the actual attacker, decides to shoot his own Prisma for a little bit, and maybe attempting to get a pre-fire into Rigba, but right now there's not a whole lot of roam happening. Most of the team of Exto are sitting on site, really, and yeah, look, right now it's just, it's a bit of a almost meme fest. Another setup by Rigba, who's going to be trying to set something up for like a flank camera, but unfortunately we do have a little bit of a sound bug for ourselves. But yeah, we might just make it, well, maybe it'll change later on. Rigba gets the kill into Oblivion. Boydie potentially might be finding an opening there for himself, but right now with a minute remaining, the push might need to happen here from Rufflecopters. We do get a nice kind of almost ASMR levels of just static for this whole action, as right now I'm not too sure how did Dark not get a kill with all of that ammo that he just used up, but that does leave Mudpack and Mitchie as the lone survivors here.
Do you think this is what Mute hears constantly? Like when he's hanging out at home and like not listening to the radio or anything with lasers, he's just sitting there with the Mute Jammer sound constantly in his ear? Because that doesn't sound very good to me, so I think we might have to rehost to get rid of it.
Yeah, so we shall need a rehost for all of this, as we are going to be making a return to us. Just quickly making sure that thing is there. There we go. We are back. Hello, welcome back. You get to see us for a little bit longer whilst we deconstruct all of this. I guess that's one way to really summarize it up. By the way, hello, my name is Cthulu. This is Smite once again, in case you missed us, in case you just tuning in. But look, Smite, this is definitely looking like a bit of a meme fest here.
I mean, I kind of want to talk about this meme fest.
All right, go on.
Because let's think about what it means, right? Because in terms of the leaderboard, Rufflecopter, remember that this started happening before game 1 was finished, by the way, is that Rufflecopter, yeah, they're pretty safe, and for all intents and purposes, they might be, you know, playing a little aggressively and having a bit of fun, but they are definitely getting in there and smashing out their rounds. For Exto, let's not forget that with Ferox's win earlier tonight, Exto are technically 5th. They are technically out of playoffs right now. They would not make it. So, in essence, I mean, do we call it like it is? Do we call it like it is and say they're throwing away the game here?
Not, well, that's still yet to be kind of decided. That's still yet to be decided as to whether it is kind of being thrown out. But theoretically for Exto, they're essentially, they just been knocked out of the playoffs bracket. They are very much far away from the relegations, no matter what kind of outcome.
They're fine for that.
They're fine with that. So theoretically, this kind of game, whether it's a win or a loss, a loss wouldn't really matter as much to them. They're not being relegated at all. The only issue is they kind of missing out on the opportunity for the playoffs. They might be looking at redeeming that during the final week, but even then, that is a bit of a dangerous decision, given certain circumstances could really line up and essentially result in, well, Exto pretty much nullifying all of their efforts.
Yeah, it's a little bit rough to see, I'm not going to lie, but look, for Rufflecopter, I mean, full respect to them for coming in, smashing out what looks to be Not calling game 2 just yet, but I mean, as it's going, looks to be a 2-0 for Rafflecopter so far.
I mean, at this point, it's expected to be a 2-0.
Yeah, it certainly feels like it is just being washed over for Exto at the moment. It's a little bit rough for them, but if you're any of the other teams in that top 4 right now, or let's call it top 5 because we are including Exto, if you're any of those other teams, then you're sitting back and you're saying, well, hell yeah, this is a few points we're not going to have to deal with for someone who might kick us out of the top 4, kick us out of playoffs, kick us out of where all the money is. Remember, all the prize pool sits in the top 4. You got to make playoffs to make bank.
To make bank as well. Yeah. So there's a few kind of odd things here, I gotta say. So, well, for Exto, it just means that, well, they still get a little bit more time to probably meme it up. As it seems like they may have kind of gave up on the idea of the playoffs. Who knows? Because
maybe not the playoffs.
Maybe not the playoffs. Yeah, but or at the very least, just on the idea of gaining a dub in this matchup. Given that Rafflecopter are a pretty powerful adversary, we'll say that they have been keeping themselves consistently on the top position in the past 3-4 weeks, and. For Exto right now, they have been kind of, well, you look at the roster, already they lost Edpan to Bizarre.
That's rough.
Sawyer has become a coach for Noble, so theoretically departed from core playing Siege. And so now you're kind of left with kind of the 3 stack that is very able to do some plays, but playing in a kind of, I suppose, 3.5 versus 5 is certainly...
It's a rough ask.
It's a rough ask.
Like, let's not get anything wrong here. I have laughed watching these games tonight. I have had a good time watching a lot of these rounds for sure. But it's just, we're trying to work out what's going on inside Exto Gaming's head right now because they are not out of contention at all. That is what is so baffling. That's what is so confusing right now. But hey, look, maybe the rest of the game will maybe clear some things up. I mean, we're getting a little bit of snippets from the chat, so maybe that'll give us a little bit of context. But I can see that in our rehost, which we are just about finished, guys, there's only a few more players to jump in the lobby, and we'll be back right away. Of course, we want to finish up the series and see how exactly this one goes, and maybe Exto have some more surprises.
Yeah, maybe. Look, they have both of the Italian operators with the ACS, so well, they have all the tools to really make the openings as well as that. I mean, bring in the 2 Italians, bring in 2 Spetsnaz with the SASG, bring in an Ella with the FO12. You get pretty much all the tool set to really make an open floor plan for pretty much any map. Well, for Clubhouse here, it's pretty much they could open up the whole map.
Well, it turns out you just have to open one wall to make it really suck for you on the defense. Just go for that. But I mean, like maybe something happens when they get on attack. I think that's where things could get pretty fun. You know, I mean,
I'm expecting similar to what was that Ferox? Yeah, Ferox against Exto did on Villa. You remember what was happening there?
Or the insanely quick rush? Or
no, we're talking like Blitz, Monty, Amaru picks. Like completely wild stuff to the point where it's just you questioning your sanity. That kind of level.
Yeah. I mean, like maybe we see something like that come out. I mean, Blitz and all that. I mean, the thing is, shield operators have a very clear and cut kind of counter now, so you could just. I mean,
just bring in
it's
Clash.
not to say like it's super bad. It's just like Clash will come out and make your memes not very funny anymore.
Look, I mean, at this point, if you are intending to meme it out like that, at this point I would expect the teams to ban Clash.
Well, I mean, okay, but banning phase is over, right? Like,
yeah, well, ban phase is now over. Yeah, that's true. But I mean, in the further installments, I suppose of.
Well, I mean, they've only got 1 week. Siege. They've only got 1 week after this for Exto Gaming. They better hope it's a 2-0. Otherwise, they might drop out of the top 4. Which is, I'm just going to say it again. They are at risk of that potentially happening. Now, maybe they're very confident about their match next week. Maybe so. Or maybe they're a little hopeless about tonight's match. I mean, that's really the only answer is what I'm getting. Although, I've seen the blue bar from the gods appear in my peripheral vision here, Cthulhu, which means only one thing. It means the game is back and ready.
Let's go! Already round 5. To be going straight in as already we are on a 4-0 scoreline for ourselves. Church and Arsenal Room is there as well to be defended as the second to last round of the defense for Exto.
So far, so good. And now it's weird.
We just saw, I believe, 2, if not 3 players random pick the final 2 ops. So, well,
Yeah,
Alibi Legion is still a decent decision, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're not just like all 3 really quickly picking at the same time. That was just random, alright? So, I don't know. It seems like...
Maybe it was a quick pick.
It does seem like operators they've been picking anyway, so regardless of whether it was random or not, means that they're used to these operators. No one's going to be put out too much for it for sure. But hey, look, again, this is still a bit weird, right? Like there's no kites, so breaching is going to be a breeze for Rufflecopter to get through those hatches. I mean, no smoke to easily hold up the tunnel as well. Maybe you can fill it up with goo mines or something like that, but that's going to be like an entire operator's utility just all settled up in one spot. So definitely ways they can make it work for sure. I mean, Banshees can go down here in the tunnel too. So again, it's not like they're missing crucial parts of this defense, but I am worried a little bit about the no Kaid. The hatches are going to be pretty easy to breach, so they're going to have to be on point with those impacts. What is Sawyer trying to do?
I'm not questioning Sawyer's decision at this point.
Maybe he's trying to get the goo mine like right between the...
Maybe. I mean, he's clearly trying to pull some Spider-Man level stuff because, look, at the moment, that is probably the only explanation to all of this. But look, I guess we'll have to see and find out as to what is going to be done here. As already, Deptra is just being live drawn up ahead. Nobody is even there on the red stairs, as Campo is the one to actually shut down Dark's attempts right before the, well, red stairs, and, well, that's the first blood, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's great. You get the blue tunnel almost basically freed up if you can get down there in time, but going to be pretty hard to defend this from with only 4 operators left here for now, and especially without your Jaeger main holding down the blue tunnel. Maybe that could be a little duel Rufflecopter could opt for. Now though, I mean, these hatches aren't even reinforced. Like, you just get the sledge to come on in. Deptra can basically open up kitchen on his own if it's the same. I don't think we got to look at it before, but is it actually? No, at least they reinforced that.
Yeah. Already a little bit of a body blocking action happening there. Woody is not particularly excited about the fact that his very own teammate nearly done that. Already EMP going in, and no breach.
By attackers.
Yeah, so...
Brigboy is far away. OG is not there. Boyd just wasted his EMP.
Not sure what he was using it on, either. I mean, there's no Kaid for sure. Mitchie's gone down to a C4, I think, below the floor. And there he goes to be finished off as well. So we're back down to just 3 defenders remaining. And I don't think they can hold all of these angles. All the hatches are open as well, Cthulhu. And Rufflecopter can drop down. They've got a minute to work this one out. And, well, it's going to be all on the defenders and their gun game for sure. These swings have got to be on point. They've got to hold down this drop basically perfectly. But they've got aggression from the dirt tunnel. Enemies about to drop down, although this 1 pixel angle could be really good if he can find it, but I think he's giving it away. That first drop down looks like it's just about to happen. They are certainly taking their time on this one. 1 flash blinds Mud Packet. He holds strong, stays there, but the smoke is going to completely cut him off from aiming at anyone. Sawyer has got 1 kill now, but the plant is going down, Cthulhu, and the 1 defender that was left is all ripped apart by Rigba and Boydie. 5th round in the pocket for Rufflecopter. They are making this speed run a world record.
80% speed run, our 6th official game. It seems that's the
What would 100% be? Like, you've got your 80% speed run, which is this.
yeah.
What's a 100% speed run? Like, you got a...
Overtime, 15 rounds, and
No, but then that means you did it worse. So how can that be 100%? Maybe it's going to be a 7-0 with...
7-0, all flawless rounds, not a single HP lost.
But then it's got to imply that you've done everything that you could. So maybe you've got to get the diffuser down every round that you can and disable every round that you can.
That as well, yeah. So it's a flawless round, not a single health lost. Diffuse it down or diffused. And a 7-0. So that is the full 100% completion here. So what we're seeing here is more so of a any percent speed run. Maybe later on, Xto could demonstrate us a full 100% speed run, or rather Rufflecopter.
Well, yeah, it's not feeling like it's going to be Xto doing 100%
Well,
anytime
Xto
soon.
could assist. You know how sometimes, like, say, for Tekken speedruns, there are things that, like, I think it's like technically assisted speedruns or something like that, where they actually use different, like, controllers for the fight. Here, maybe it's just a similar kind of thing. It's just Xto assisting with the speedrun.
To me, man, that sounds like getting to take control of like Dr. Cortex and just dying to Crash Bandicoot while your friend's playing.
Oh, that's one way to do it.
That's one way. So I don't know if that really counts in the whole thing, but I think we've taken this analogy a little too far, for sure. Speedrun, yes, that's what Rufflecopter are doing right now. Let's see why as we jump into round number 6, the last round that they'll have on attack. Well, Mudpacket sees that he's being spotted out. We haven't even really looked at the operators, by the way, which actually looks normal for was it CCTV defense? No. Okay.
Right.
Interesting.
It is the church defense, funnily enough. So
okay.
the fact that Mudpack is playing up in the rafters is certainly curious. Probably that's the way to describe it, really. But hey, okay, we've just seen a bit of a default by Sawyer, so back to the side he goes. Still has 2 goo mines in his pockets that are yet about to be thrown around, so I'm assuming those being prepped for whenever he gets to down somebody, and he'll just direct impact with both of those goo mines just to get the kill. But look, right now it's all looking like just the kind of Rufflecopter just waiting for them to claim yet another round.
It's funny because the rounds themselves take longer too, because Rufflecopter have no idea what Xto are doing. Like, you want to drone out pretty much everything, because who knows, it could be like a cav hiding somewhere. But here we go, onto the site, kitchen hatch now being attacked, and it's Sawyer hanging back. He does have his impact in hand to try and deny this one, but here comes Dark to try and make a bit of a swing here. He's just a little bit too late, but goes in, goes for the shots, and gets them in the end onto Deptra. Can he get back out here, or does he stick around for more? It looks like seconds are on the plate right now. He can't finish it up just yet. Rigba, the dessert is right there at the top of the stairs for him if he wants it.
Maybe a C4 could have been thrown in, but alas, that's not the case. A smoke grenade attempt from down below by Mitchie is a decent idea, but instead we're just going to be seeing a very standard breach by OJ. Get the hatch open, go for a drop down, get the frags, and well, call it a day.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to find out where these defenders are. There's not too many smokes left for Mitchie, so this should be a pretty clear one in, but there's probably one more for Rufflecopter to deal with. They want to try and clear these ones out. They actually haven't got the breach done just yet, but this one should go through, but there's only 30 seconds left now, Cthulhu. We've got OJ with a pretty sweet little drone spotting out Sawyer, so Boydie might just be able to get the immediate shot onto him, but not if OJ is going to steal the kill first. There's the smoke to come out, and there's one more to go as well, so we can cut off one more point of entry, but the last defender is remaining. It's just Mitchie, and he is all concussed up, and there's the plant going down now too. No one's even going to have to find him, because he's going to find them first. And that plant about to finish as the seconds tick on by. Mitchie's taken a ton of damage. He couldn't deny it. He couldn't deny it at all, Cthulhu.
At all. Yeah, he's pretty much now completely locked out of the site. We'll try to go in for a swing over at the armory and see if maybe he can find a few of the frags to just maybe stat pad a little bit more. But look, right now, he's got some angles up above to care about. He's got a person up on the side. OJ will be able to handle it very swiftly, and well, round 6, a flawless run for Rufflecopter in the first half. We'll be ensuring that they're going to be starting the second half with a match point.
Yeah, so it's looking like one more round until it's all over for Xto Gaming, but hey, look, they're on attack now. Maybe this is where the shenanigans will help them out. Maybe this is where the shenanigans will stop entirely. Remember, the bans still keep things weird, so their hard breaching options are quite limited. But you imagine that Habana's still going to show up, because it is going to be the church push for sure. You want those hatches open, but does the frost stick around?
Oh yeah, Frost I would imagine would stick around here. Dark's decision to bring in a Glass, though, that is going to be one way to really go about it, as the man decides to maybe swap around. No, maybe toy around with that idea. No, he will stick to it. So Glass post buff
Attackers need to
will be
locate
making a
and
return
defuse
here.
bombs.
Maybe oh no, smoke grenades. Okay, thank you. It's going to be frag grenades instead. I mean, look, offensive Glass that can white swing with the rate of fire that he currently has on his sniper rifle is kind of nuts. But you need to play him almost the same way how you play Ash, which is just white swing each and every possible angle and just kind of pray to RNGs that the recoil is going to be with you.
The good news is that
10 seconds to
they
go.
do have a nice little amount of frags to throw down. You know, he can go join up with Sawyer in the
5
kitchen and
seconds
drop the frags down. 2 below, although do we have one defender hanging out by himself for a little bit? Maybe we'll catch up with him, but no, it looks like they're going to be all good. Just getting a sip of a Red Bull in before perhaps the final round. Here we go, Oblivion very brave to open things up, but Exto Gaming, all things considered apart from the Glaz, kind of a normal composition, so
Yeah.
they'll be looking for the same things. They'll be looking for the swings like you were saying, similar to how Ash would. But here we go. The first little challenge they can have is getting rid of Boydie to open up the entry into the blue tunnel.
Yeah, Boydie's position here right now is that, well, he could have just drained some time and then, well, just fall back, because there is a Valk cam that will be essentially relaying all the needed information about whereabouts would the attacker be on those blue tunnel stairs. So apart from that, is just for Exo, they just droning out top floor to ensure that there's no roaming up above, and after that, it's just, well, business as usual to try to get the push onto the side done. Oblivion already finds the shot onto Boydie, so that is a solid beginning here for
Bomb
Exo.
located by attackers.
Potentially could attempt to keep on trying to swing it, because right now the breach is starting to happen, and right now actually, okay, just a few openings by the Valk to maybe throw in a C4.
Yeah, it's a good moment to blow a C4. He might have heard the goo mine, but actually clips it up onto the roof. No, it actually goes through, but it misses anyway. And Oblivion now may be able to sneak up onto him, and there it is! He gets his kill. Mitchie's fallen down in the background, so it has been a trade, but Exto Gaming might be able to make it to the next round here. Just Campo standing in his way, and it doesn't matter. Exto Gaming actually managed to find a round now that they're on attack.
There we go. Breaking the 6-round streak that was in the play. By the way, that was the third church site that we've just seen in a row. Just so you know, between like those two teams that were attempting to defend.
Yeah,
it.
it's felt like a lot of church.
Yeah, that's quite a whole lot of praying that needs to be done as well. Both of these teams definitely need Jesus after tonight's game.
The God of Mischief is certainly up to some tricks over on the Exto side, but looks like their blessing has come through. Maybe a little too late, but at least for one round it has come through. Over to CCTV, you look at what Rafflecopter are doing. Very, very normal. You know, you've got the Kayid, you've got the Wumai, everything, every piece of the puzzle. The only thing that stands out, I'd say, would be the Kayid and the Bandit. And they're swapping away from the smoke for the Kayid.
Attackers need
I
to
we've
locate
seen a
and
fair
defuse
few
as many
compositions
bombs
where
as
it did involve in just not letting any kind of breach to be done. So potentially this is what we're seeing here. OJ could very much displace 2 of his bandit charges here on the wall, and kind of see how they go from there. And after that, the moment those bandit charges will be gotten rid of, the 2 Kai charges will be flying out. Or instead, Depta will be just using both those Kai charges to prevent any breaching in the garage. So instead, it's going to be actually OJ to bandit trick. And he actually did a fantastic job previously when we saw him on Clubhouse as a bandit on defense.
But yeah, so it might actually be quite tough to get through his own bandit.
the bomb.
Tricking here right now, both walls going to be nice and electrified. Even going to close off the doorway to the red stairs. That is interesting. I guess we'll find out what it might be used for a little bit later on, but yeah, all things considered, some very tough breaches, all but impossible for some of them, coming up for Exto to get through. And they are really keen on looking out for these runouts, by the way.
Yeah, look. Right now, Exto just gonna do the usual stuff, drone it out, and just get themselves rolling, really. Because, well, this is, once again, they don't have any more attempts at memeing it out or any attempts at really making mistakes. So this is, if they do lose this round, this is it. This is the end of the game. So we'll have to see what's really happening.
I mean, hey, that's first blood, and it's onto OJ, so if they had a way to get rid of those batteries, that would have been a good thing, but for now, they should just be sticking around for a little bit longer. Oblivion holding down this one window may be able to really help out, and going to be able to pick up the Electro Claws as well, now that they can adapt to it as well, and maybe even electrify up the wall, the main wall, but Deptra's got to be careful climbing over this window. That would have been a dangerous one to go through, because you've got Oblivion, who's been hanging out by these windows for the longest time. Sawyer as well, but now here we go. There's the trade. And Mitchie's going to be off the worst for it, but Oblivion has been on a rampage from the outside. Garage still no control over to them, but Deptra falls. Sawyer saving this one for his team, but Rigba shuts any nonsense from Oblivion right on down, but he's going to do a big job, a big run out, because he's the only defender left for now. He's got a pretty good idea where they might come from. There's the first one. Manages to not quite down it, and he's still rather low himself. Would have had to win that one straight away, and with that, another one into the pocket for Exto. Surely they don't come back, Cthulhu, from this.
Well, looks like they just might be able to. Look, this is looking like this could be a beginning for the comeback train for EXG. Very good observation there, Dark.
How can he be bad? He got buffed.
Well, he did get buffed, but it seems that in Dark's hands, things certainly are not seeming to be buffed.
So Dark is the problem.
Potentially, yeah.
All right, you heard it here first from Cthulhu, analyst solving the problem. But
It's like, it's, you know, one of those kind of solving the problems that if you're homeless, just go buy a house.
or like the Korean advice for esports, which is like, if you want to be better than your enemy, just shoot them. Just plant the diffuser.
Just click heads, forehead.
Attackers need to locate
Just don't
and
die.
defuse bombs.
Obviously, just
No.
don't lose 6 rounds in a row.
No die, make bang, earn a win.
As simple as that. Almost as simple as voting for your favorite player in the Red Bull fan vote. Exclamation mark vote in Twitch chat to find out how. Also how to score yourself some free Red Bull. I've heard it's a year's supply.
Yeah.
Exclamation mark vote. Check it out. Because you may not be able to hear a reminder like that for much longer, because Rafflecopter are still on match point. Might remind everyone, we might be getting excited for Exto Gaming, 2 wins in a row, but they still have 4 in a row to complete right now. At least it does seem like they are stepping things up and going back to a little bit more normal, but then you look over at what Dark is pulling out. That is an armor into church.
Armor into church, yeah, that's,
If only the zipline worked like down a hatch, like a reverse Oryx, like you just rocket straight down.
dive bomb straight through there.
It's like Oryx as well. Like you crash them and you knock them down with the power of gravity.
Like, but you hit them with your forehead. Like you actually align yourself like a missile.
Yeah, because she goes down head first in this situation.
Yeah.
Not like landing on her feet or anything. Not like a ballerina like you. It is just
Alrighty then.
head first.
Just head
Straight.
first.
Okay.
Headbutt everything
Hey.
and make a win.
Reinforce that bit of wood. Survive the shot from the hammer.
Yeah.
Hey, look, Sawyer gave it another go and got it done. Had enough wheat bix in that swing.
I wonder where that electrical actually is, because it didn't actually get destroyed by the frag grenade. So I'm assuming it's tucked away in a very neato spot. But seems for now, what's also neato is the fact that there is a very quick breach right at the entrance. Oh, Dark hits those shots. Oh my.
Yeah, solid little score there by Dark. One piece of the puzzle now down. That's OJ gone. Half the round. Oh, hello. Oh, heartbeat moment. He still dies in the end, but it looked really cool.
Sure did, yeah. There we go, another gunfight does erupt just outside of the dirt tunnel as Oblivion just unable to hit the shots, unfortunately for himself. Can't finish out the kill onto Deptra. There is some presence already in the blue tunnel as well, as Exto Gaming are just waiting to collapse right onto site with Michi and Soya in the blue tunnel, Oblivion just about to enter the dirt tunnel, and Dark is pushing the main staircase. So 3 different avenues for the defense to really handle, and it seems that things are about to start falling apart.
Yeah, they've got another defender down, and Rigbird, there goes another one as Campo falls. A whole minute to make this one work, and what? They make it work.
They just make it work. 3 rounds in a row, Exto. Bringing this all the way as... I'm starting to just question my sanity here, really.
I mean, would this be the biggest BM ever to come back?
That would be, but at the same time, that
would
will be the biggest throw by Rufflecopter as well, if they won't end up winning one more round.
So we get a double whammy. We get the biggest throw, and the biggest comeback, and perhaps
the biggest troll.
And the biggest troll. I mean, imagine though if you're Rufflecopter having to go into next week's matches after losing a match like that. Now that said, it's still 3 more rounds that Exto needs to pull out without dropping a single one. So it is still a hearty challenge for them, no doubt. But hey, look, it's been 3 rounds in a row already. We were kind of saying it was over 3 rounds ago, so maybe Exto Gaming can pull this one back. It's certainly not easy to win so many in a row without dropping anything, but look, these guys are at the top of their level for a reason, so maybe, but back over on Rufflecopter, you looked at the team comp and everything still looks totally normal. This is one of the ideal comps you'd love to bring to CCTV. They brought it last time, didn't quite work out, but it wasn't a disaster. Came down to a 1v2, so certainly Rufflecopter can make this one work for sure. It just has to happen once.
5 seconds remaining.
Looking at the setup so far, maybe Rufflecopter are making things, making some, well, standard reinforcements. I'm curious as to why there's no expansion into construction or maybe master bedroom, but apart from that, I just... Yeah, look, I'm lost for words about this whole match, really.
It's alright. It's alright, I'll keep you up here. Maybe this will be the last round here, Cthulhu. You can rest easy after this one, as Rufflecopter, I'm sure, will want to too. You might be sweating a little bit after this, but Exto Gaming, maybe their hearts are starting to race. Oblivion was in the spot last time. He caught a cheeky little frag around this window, but this time OJ has learned. He's moved away out of line of sight of the window. Will not be taken out so easily. And always has the red stairs to head on back to if he needs to. But here we go. It's a bedroom like you were mentioning. No presence by the defenders, so Sawyer can walk right up there.
Yeah, for Sawyer, this is free real estate to really go for. And right now with Mudpact and Oblivion already holding their angles, this could be a pretty quick closeout the round as well. We'll have to see. Boydie already starting to get pressured here in the cash room by the Zafir, and we still yet to see any damage to be traded around, although that is quite a lot of free fires and a lot of flashbangs to end Boydie's run.
Yeah, he is quickly taken out of there. Still a minute 30 to finish this one off as Oblivion picks up his double kill in OJ. And they are slowly but surely making their way towards this site. Through the wall though. Nothing from Campo, but Deptra has gotten dark. And so IQ gone. That's pretty nice. We've got Rigbird now back out from the garage, making his work done. And Campo has sent another one back, but Deptra has fallen down. So this is looking like a disaster. But hey, look, Campo's still on fire. The diffuser's planted, but this can be done. This can be done. Deptra's finally finished off. Back to the 2v2. Oblivion stays alive somehow. Maybe he wants the ace. Maybe he wants the ace, and now we're going to disable it, but it's just a bait at the end. Sawyer tries to call it, tries to look for it, but he's under fire from the other side of the wall. But only 20 seconds to hold this diffuser. He can do it for sure. Campo, again, it's a bait. He's calling him out. But Sawyer, does he go for it? He's still going, but eventually this one has to stick. 10 seconds. And Sawyer shuts any of that nonsense right down, and still Exto survive 4 rounds in a row. 2 away from securing overtime. We've seen matches come back from this, Cthulhu.
Yeah, look, this is looking like, well and truly, this could go into overtime between these two teams. all of a sudden, Exto are just full-blown activated the moment they saw the match point, and look, it's just they playing on a whole new level, I suppose. Church and Arsenal will be the next place for battle.
Just in case you hadn't had enough Church.
Just in case we haven't had enough Church already. We haven't seen Jim pretty much at all throughout today.
Which makes the castle ban like really funny.
It does make it kind of funny, yeah. Although we've seen plentiful amount of actually comps that actually just don't even utilize castle at all. So yeah, Boydie going in for just a quick reinforcement for the team, and then before he bails out for the roam. Potentially could net himself a few frags, but looking at how potent Exto were so far at just roam clearing, this could be pretty quickly shut down.
Yeah, I mean, the roam clear has been pretty good, pretty on point, but Boydie, I mean, maybe it just takes one game, remember? One game where he gets the early frag, buys up a huge amount of time, and just messes up Exto. He doesn't have to survive, for sure. He just has to mess them up long enough to screw up their last push, and it just has to happen once. So, he's going to have his opportunity to do it here, but first breach going to go out by Mudpack over onto the dirt tunnel, and so, we begin things here again in Cthulhu. We begin going to the church.
So you're already going in for the swing. Knows that there might be some presence, but Campo is a little bit quicker there and does get rid of Sawyer. So that's already a very quick beginning in a 4v5 manner. Campo, with Boydie, by the way, still in a room, will not be fragged out just yet, as it seems that Exto are just full-blown ignoring the presence up above, and instead is just a push onto the blue tunnel, which is completely left unguarded, so that does allow Exto to go in for a quick push, but instead they are now prompting to go in for the drone out to just figure out what is in their closest vicinity.
Yeah, I mean, remember, they've still got all those roamers to deal with, you know, Campo and Boydie. There's Boydie now taken care of, so that's step one, but you still want to find Campo, and look at how far away he's managed to get. No one's anywhere near him. It's really just Dark who's been looking around for him, and he's good to head back downstairs. He may have to leave a bit of a flank watch on the stairs, but Campo's going to be one to watch for. Here's the breach, number one. We got two into the blue. We just need that one in the kitchen done. And that is all the steps needed for Exto to make their way in. It's even up, Cthulhu. It's 4v4. This could still be anyone's round.
Campo was there. Potentially to frag it out, but Rigby, a fantastic throw of the C4. Did some phenomenal job. There is a flank by Campo that could really solve all of the problems here for Rufflecopter, but again, finds one. Goes in for the drop down, potentially could find another frag. I'm not too sure whereabouts his Mudpack is actually sitting around, but right now, Alpha Man is actually going in for the swing. He's already in church, goes in for the peek, gets rid of Campo. That's full control of the side now established, but now OJ needs to go in for the swing, gets the frag, because right now he's about to be pressured from two different positions and won't really care. Oh, there we go, 2v1 situation. Surely at this point, this is all done and dusted, but it seems like Alpha Man has got all the guns and all the utility really needed for the clutch, but there we go. Finally, Rufflecopter, stop all this nonsense, finish it out, and get it done. It's a 2-0 for them.
5 rounds in the making, that last one was. 5 rounds in the making, but they managed to finally pick it up in the end. And Exto certainly made this an exciting one to watch, certainly made it a different one to watch. But hey, at the end of the day, Rufflecopter not only retained this spot at the top of the leaderboard, they scored 2-0 against their opponents, Exto Gaming. They've only got one more match in the round robin to go, and they are very, very safe there at the top of the leaderboard. A real tough one to crack there, Cthulhu. I mean, how often is it that you almost see a team mentally give up because of their opponents, right? I mean, that one...
Yeah.
Oh boy.
That was a bit of a rough patch there for Rufflecopter once they went to the second half. But yeah, look, they managed to make a comeback, managed to claim a 2-0. Now they well and truly set themselves up in the first place, at least for the end of this week. And no matter what the efforts, I believe it's either going to be either a tiebreaker or just a 1 point away. But either way, well done, well played. Rufflecopter do manage to assert their dominance, whereas for Exto, a few question marks are certainly there.
Yeah, I mean, look, a few bright sides for sure. I mean, look, they didn't give away too much, unless that is their secret strategy, then everything's revealed. Not too much was revealed for what they can pull out next week. They can kind of rest easy knowing they had an easier kind of match where things weren't so on the line. I think that was a general kind of attitude I got from the team. So, they just have to come back strong next week, lock in playoffs, and then as long as they do well from the bracket stage, then they can put this kind of mess behind them.
Yeah, as long as they can make it back into the playoffs, that's, I suppose, at this stage is the only thing that they really care. Because even if they do end up dropping down, well, at the very least, they don't face the relegations like Elemental or Bands might be looking at that risk. So, yeah, that's pretty much about all that there really can be said about tonight's matches, really.
Yeah, I mean, to clean up this week, we do have to come back tomorrow night and close up 2 more matches, and that one should shape up the leaderboard nice and easily to give us an idea of what to expect in the final week of the round robin before we hit playoffs. But everyone, that's all we can do for tonight. So before we leave you, we've got to give a big shout out to all our favorite sponsors of Vodafone, WD Black, Conquer, Sky City, and of course Extrafy and Red Bull for helping us out and making esports happen here for LPL. But guys, we're going to see you tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. New Zealand Standard Time. Have a good one, stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow.
It's all down to Mitchie to try to deny that. He's not able to deny the plan, and he's able to run down the time.
Here it starts again. 1 kill already done. Next kill already done. Numbers do usually win out, so they are going to pick it up right through the wall.
Camera in position.
Get behind me!
Tango located.
Hostiles in sight!